Here at BitHarmony, pride ourselves on 4 basic tenets to provide you, dear listener, with not only the maximum legal limit of sweet, sweet video game music, but also a trust in us, your humble hosts. I'm here today to reveal the BitHarmony secret herbs and spices. You may be deceived if you trust too much, but you will live in torment if you don't trust enough.
If that were true, like you're just watching your grandfather, like, eat flies.
Love is love, no matter what anyone tries to tell you.
Don't take that as I had a crush on my cousin, but I'm just saying...
Fiddle and witchcraft, black magic, and general voodooery, only when absolutely necessary.
No, they didn't shrink his head, but the point is that, like...
And lastly, there will never, ever, there will never be a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 episode. Enjoy the program.
You're listening to BitHarmony, a video game music podcast, and I'm Matt.
Matt, always put refuse in a proper receptacle. I'm Seth.
Yeah, if you don't listen to every episode, or if you're not looking at the title of the episode you're listening to now, today we are spreading the happiness, and we're talking about Chibi-Robo, I don't even know where to start. I just played this for the first time on Switch 2 on the NSO GameCube app, and the happiness has been spread. I think this has this has risen very high up my favorite games of that era list, handily. Yeah. I always had a feeling I would like this game, but I did not expect to love it in the way that I did.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved this game for a long time, but it has only, replaying it on Switch 2, it only rose in my estimation. It appeals more to my, and we'll get into all of this, it appeals more to my modern gaming taste and sensibilities now than it did when it came out. And so it's even more my jam now than it was then. And it is only elevated. I already considered it a top 3 GameCube game. I'm to the point it might just straight up be my favorite GameCube game at this point. So yeah. It's up there.
Yeah, I was trying to do that calculus in my head the past couple of weeks, and I'm like, yeah, I think Melee and Super Monkey Ball 1 might be the only games I put above this on the entire system. And I have a deep fondness for the GameCube. I'm even saying Chibi-Robo was top 5 of that entire console generation for me.
Yeah.
That's how good it is, I think. But yeah, we'll get there in an hour and a half after we get through everything else we need to do. But first, our intro this episode is In Broad Daylight from Chibi-Robo, and Chibi-Robo was composed by Hirofumi Taniguchi, and we'll be back. That was In Broad Daylight from Chibi-Robo. This is going to be one of the two songs that you hear the most by far in this game.
Yeah.
And because of that, I kind of felt obligated to open with this one. Like I said, there's basically two main songs in the game. You have the daytime exploring the house song and the nighttime exploring the house song. Now, there are plenty of like other little themes and circumstantial one-offs or character themes that play during dialogue and stuff. The soundtrack is pretty big in terms of like how much is there, but not much of it is very long or deep.
Right.
So I really then felt obligated to start off with In Broad Daylight. It really created a pretty interesting challenge of even choosing what to play this episode. I think this has honestly been the hardest episode we've done to like curate a playlist from so far.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I mean another facet to this is that like the game's the game's like music and soundtracking and stuff like weaves into the gameplay in a lot of situations. And like, for example, so the game, not to get too deep into like the mechanics of it or whatever, but it operates on day and night cycles. You're either exploring during the day and the night, and so the song you just heard is like the daytime exploration song. But whenever Chibi-Robo's walking around, like his footsteps make little noises, and they kind of act like the percussive element of the song. To the point that like whenever Chibi-Robo, he doesn't really sprint, but if you pick up your electrical plug, like normally it's dragging behind you, but you can pick it up and like kind of hold it over your head and he will move faster. The tempo of the song will change, and the tempo of his footsteps will change too because he's going faster. So like the version you're hearing isn't even really the version you're hearing in the game because you're not hearing Chibi-Robo's footsteps, you know? So it's kind of weird. Like it's really great, obviously. Like the bass is incredible, super funky. It's got like those, kind of reverberated keys that kind of give it like a little bit of a Weather Channel kind of flavor to it, but it is different. Like it doesn't really sound the way it does in the game, like hearing it removed from context,
Right. Like I can hear this song playing in my head even right now. I put like 20 hours into this game over the course of like 5 days. Like I couldn't put it down. And I can hear a version of this song playing in my head. But yeah, it's the version that has like his tinny little footsteps accompanying it. Yeah. All cool detail though is also like depending on what kind of surface you're even walking on, the sound of his footsteps even make different musical instrument noises. It's so sick. Everything you do in this game, basically every action has a musical accompaniment. Like we'll get to it later, but yeah, when you're scrubbing the floor with the toothbrush, that just plays a different song. Even when you're doing like your helicopter hovering ability, it has like the noise it's making is kind of musical in a way. Everything is just so playful. And yeah, this song I think just does such a good job of like underlining that. Like the entire game is like playful. It's also got like an underlining sense of like mystery to it, especially when we get to the night version or the night song later. They just did such a good job with the soundtrack. Though again, yeah, what makes the soundtrack stand out is like these almost interactive elements and stuff, which isn't going to be able to come through in a podcast. You'll just have to take our word for it that the game, if you like this song, you would like it even more when you're playing the game.
Yeah, I was thinking about this while I was doing this replay, and I didn't really like my mindset. I was not thinking this deeply about video games like that 20 years ago. I don't think, but while I was playing it, I'm playing it on Switch 2 NSO and everything with my Switch 2 wireless GameCube controller, which rules. And I'm sitting there playing with it. And I'm thinking to myself, like, not only do the game has this very, as you mentioned, like playful kind of energy to it. You're playing as Chibi-Robo, who's this little tiny, like toy robot thing, but also most of the characters you interact with in the game are also toys. And it's perfect for the GameCube because like I'm looking at the GameCube controller, it looks like a toy. Like the GameCube controller looks like it's made out of Legos or something, and I don't know, something about that, like the like everything felt very cohesive. Like that entire game just feels very playful, very like whimsical and cohesive, but also, you know, like it doesn't pull its punches when it comes to serious themes either, which I'm sure we'll get into as well. But like it's not, you know, the game is not just one thing, and I really appreciated that.
Chibi-Robo contains multitudes. That is very, very true.
He really
Yeah,
does.
I was crying at like 2 points in the game. Like not full on crying, but like I was getting teary eyed and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was not expecting to. It's one of those games. Like I would most compare this personally. This isn't gameplay wise, but tonally, almost to Majora's Mask. And when I say that, it's also because I was so glad that I didn't play Majora's Mask as a kid when it was new, because I would have hated it. Like as a 12-year-old kid, there's no way I would have wrapped my head around like the time limit and resetting the time and stuff. I just would have thought that was frustrating and not wanted to deal with it at all. Chibi-Robo has a little bit of that, like, and again, we'll get to this more in depth later, but it's not as like strict or punishing as Majora's Mask. But yeah, you do have like a step limit, or rather, you have to plug in before your battery drains and stuff. And yeah, the entire time I was playing this, I was like, man, I kind of wish I'd played this sooner. But then I'm like, yeah, but maybe this is actually the perfect time for me to play Chibi-Robo, because yeah, in 2006, I was not ready for this. I promise you, I would not have liked this game in 2006.
Yeah, and I also don't think it's going to be for everyone, right? Like if you're not a, you know, gamer or whatever with like that sensibility, like if you're not somebody who can kind of like deal with intentionally like very deliberate, very like hindering sort of gameplay, and there's reasons for it, and it works really well. But if you can't deal with that, like if you're just looking for a completely frictionless experience, Chibi-Robo's not for you.
Which is funny because yeah, the game is kind of like, it can be obtuse and it can be cumbersome and stuff, but like there isn't really much punishment, if any at all. You just like, you might faint or whatever if you run out of power, but that's about it. There's nothing, as far as I'm aware, nothing that's like, oh, you screwed up and now you have to like make a new file or something. Like it's not anywhere near that degree.
You lose some money, I think, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Hey, it's pretty easy. I found a way to farm money, especially when you got save states.
Oh yeah, Pico. Just like just redo the Pico thing. Yeah, totally.
Was there anything else you wanted to add about In Broad Daylight?
No, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. I'm trying to hold myself back.
Yeah, I know, because like I just want to talk about this game because it was truly a treasure. But I guess then let's move on into general housekeeping, which we've got a couple of our normal things. We've also got an announcement.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Well, okay, let me not get too far ahead. First of all, thank you to Hopple, who upgraded to the Golden Banana tier since the last main episode. Really appreciate the support. Patreon.com/allinmedia. I've got links in the show notes for y'all to do that, and it gets you access to all of the exclusive mini episodes that we've been doing over the summer of Nintendo. There are a ton now of like exclusive episodes of this show if you want to do what Hopple did and join the Golden Banana tier. You can even get a 7-day free trial and check that out. It supports us. We really appreciate it. So thanks, Hopple, for doing that. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Hopple. Definitely appreciated. And yeah, speaking of Summer of Nintendo stuff, originally we were going to end with the Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Party, like double hitter of the Donkey Kong Bonanza main episode, Mario Party Mini. Then Chibi-Robo dropped on NSO and we extended to this episode. This was meant to be the ending. However, we're not done yet. We do have one more final mini to hit next week, and that's going to be on the Kirby and the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed World DLC that just hit like a week ago on Switch 2. I guess there's no real reason for this except that it has a really good soundtrack, and
pretty much.
we already covered the main game earlier this year, and it would just fit a mini format perfectly.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect. Yeah,
that's why we're doing it. And also, I just love Kirby, so it's fine. Don't worry about it too much. But yeah, Seth and I are liars. We've proven it time and time again.
Well, yeah. I mean, from our perspective, it's like I don't think too many people are going to be super upset that they're getting more content. I think they'll be okay. I think they can deal with it.
Maybe until you get another like 2.5 hour episode, even though it's supposed to be a mini on Kirby
Oh,
and
yeah.
DGD lore, and then everyone's going to be upset. So again, as a reminder, I won't go over all the whole Summer of Nintendo list, but I will just remind everyone that yeah, we had minis this summer on Wario Land 4, Elebits, Kickle Cubicle, the original Mario Party, and then next week we are closing the Summer of Nintendo out with the Kirby and the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed World episode. And otherwise, did you have any other housekeeping notes here?
No, not really. We didn't have any new reviews to shout out. I did want to point out something really funny. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I just thought this was kind of funny. So we got an email. Every now and then we get like random, probably spam, like AI generated emails, and we got one from Pod SEO, which we've gotten an email from them before. It was, for those who've been listening for a while, it was when we learned that we were like ranked 30 something in the yokai podcast keyword searches. I have an update on that. So they provided us some new analytics here. We are currently still ranked number 38 on the yokai keyword search podcast.
I cannot believe we have not risen the ranks. That's very disappointing.
Somehow we haven't risen the ranks. However, number 5 for video game music searches. That's pretty damn good. I
feel like that's pretty good. I want to pump those yokai numbers up, so we got to do
we got to do another one so we can pump those numbers up. But I'm like, damn, top 5 video game music podcasts by the Apple Podcast keyword search, pretty good. But there was another one, another stat here that I thought was really funny. We are the number 11 top rated podcast when people search for Matt Harmon.
What's funny about that? I don't know who Matt Harmon is, but it's funny because there are multiple like famous or at least semi-famous Matt Murrays. So it's funny that we can't get into that ranking, even though I am Matt Murray, but we can get into Matt Harmon rankings somehow.
Matt Harmon is an American professional golfer from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I guess whenever people are going on, it's just, I love imagining the person who's like, I gotta hear if Matt Harmon's been interviewed on a podcast, and they find this stupid video game music podcast because your name's Matt and Harmon is most of Harmony.
Yeah, I always wonder, like, now that podcasts are so wide-reaching and mainstream now, when I first started listening to podcasts, there weren't even that many podcasts in the first place. Like, yeah, how do people react? Or how do people even decide what they're going to search for? Like, yeah, well, like you're saying, who the hell is searching, like, into Apple Podcasts or whatever for Matt Harmon? Like, again, maybe he's a super interesting dude. Maybe he even has a podcast. I don't know. But it's just weird to me that, like, you're searching for the name of someone into the Apple Podcasts or whatever, as opposed to like a name of a show or something or a subject. You know?
Yeah. I mean, dude, nothing would make me happier than if somebody like joined the Discord being like, yeah, I was looking for a Matt Harmon podcast, and all of a sudden I discovered Bit Harmony and I really like it.
It's almost as good as a Matt Harmon podcast.
So I just wanted to point that out. I also wanted to quickly shout out a comment from Lagerwoods330 on Patreon. So we, like I mentioned, we've been putting out these Patreon exclusive mini episodes only on Patreon. So like next week there will be 5 new minis that we've been doing that you'll only get if you support on Patreon. And Lagerwoods330 commented on the Mario Party mini that we put up last week. Lagerwood says, what a good episode. Also, I gotta add, the squeaky little monkey sounds actually come from an instrument called a friction drum. I found out what those were a few years ago, and I think that's so neat. I gotta tell everyone this every time I hear one. It's just some guy rubbing up on a drum, and I think that's so funny.
I'm gonna have to correct Liger Woods here and say, no, it's me. It's me just doing all of that noises,
Yeah.
like in everything you've ever heard. No, this was super sick. I when I saw you added this to the notes, on YouTube, I brought up a couple of videos of friction drums, and yeah, it is literally just like someone rubbing up on a drum. It's exactly how he described it. Also, a wide variety of different noises people were accomplishing with this, which is interesting because yeah,
Amazing.
to me it's just like that's the monkey noise sound.
Yeah, it just sounds like a monkey to me. But to be honest though, like I've seen growing up in Louisiana, I've seen a lot of really funny and interesting like animal calls for like hunters. Like if you've ever seen like a turkey call, it's kind of like that. They have like a little stick that they like rub against like this little thing, and it kind of makes like a sound like a turkey, like the scratching kind of friction of rubbing it against it kind of makes like a weird like like a guttural like almost turkey sound. And it's interesting. Like it's funny that the noises that people find out they can make and like think of how to replicate certain noises, you know? So
Human ingenuity is truly frightening, especially when we're recreating turkey call sounds. Like that's when you know we've gone too far, I think.
Yeah. Or monkey noises in a Mario Party game.
Yeah, specifically in a Mario Party game is very funny. I don't even know like if I ever took them explicitly as monkey noises, like, but also I don't know what else they would be because it is just a funny sound. I originally was, I don't know if you have any thoughts on the DK Donkey Kong Bonanza episode. We normally do these postmortems. Originally, this was supposed to be the end of the summer of Nintendo, so I was thinking we could do like a postmortem on the summer of Nintendo itself. Now we just save that for the next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
When it comes to the DK Bonanza episode, I just thought the energy in the last hour or so of that podcast was like sinister. I don't know. when I was editing it, I'm like, wow, what the hell were we doing? Like this went crazy places that I was not expecting, and none of it has anything to do with Donkey Kong Bonanza, basically.
I think the moment that the Band-Aid I think was fully ripped off was when we started talking about DK's juicy ass. I think I think that's when it was from it was all downhill from there, I think.
Yeah, for me there were a lot of just moments where I'm like, while editing, I'm like, oh yeah, we just keep falling on down this staircase. We just keep tripping on ourselves on the way out with this episode, which is very funny. Also, yeah, we hadn't done a full episode of just the two of us together for a while, so I guess that was also maybe partially where that energy was coming from. But I think then we are ready for the return of the normal version of the Sean Capri Presents the State of the Nintendo Music Address. In the past 2 weeks, we've had Kirby and the Forgotten Land again, because if you'll remember, they added a few of the songs, or like, I don't know, a decent chunk of the songs.
Yeah.
A couple months ago. It was for the 3rd anniversary, actually. And then just today, they added the Fire Emblem Awakening soundtrack. So, if I'm being honest, I'm not that interested in talking about the base Kirby and the Forgotten Land soundtrack for the third time on this podcast. We've done a whole episode on it. We covered it the next week on this segment when they added it to the Nintendo Music, or they added the first chunk of the songs in Nintendo Music app. So I'm not really going to sit here. I'll just reiterate what I said before, is that this is my least favorite thing that they do with the music app, is like splitting the uploads up. And like this after a pretty cool like past 6 weeks of uploads, they then do that, which, it did come right after they uploaded the Kirby Air Riders tracks as like an early preview, which that's kind of cool. It feels like it's been like a little Kirby thing going on with Nintendo the past couple weeks. And obviously it was also done to coincide with the release of Starcross World DLC and stuff. Like, I understand partially what they're doing, but in terms of rating this upload, it doesn't do much for me now.
Right. It would have been so much cooler if like they had just given us all of this stuff when Kirby and the Forgotten Land came out, and then delivered the Star-Crossed World DLC at the same time as that came out, because, I mean, I don't know, I'm ignorant on this, so maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine that they're, like, cannibalizing too much on the release of Star-Crossed World. Like, I don't think they're going to put out, like, a soundtrack CD for that in Japan. I don't imagine, you know? Because, like, we've talked about that before. Like, we've talked about, like, oh, well, you know, a lot of the reason why they don't release a lot of their modern stuff on Nintendo Music is because they don't want to cannibalize potential, like, Japanese soundtrack sales. But I don't imagine that would be the case for the DLC of the Switch 2. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but...
Yeah, I don't keep track of that stuff. I don't import, like, Japanese CDs anymore. I used to sometimes, but I could see them putting out, like, a complete soundtrack version with the DLC, like, later down the road. I have no idea, but I mean, it also sucks because as good as the Forgotten Land soundtrack is, Star-Crossed World soundtrack is insane. Like, it has so much, and even though it's mostly rearrangements of the base game soundtrack, it has so much energy to it, you know, and like that would have been a cool add to Nintendo Music, but I mean, we've talked about Kirby and the Forgotten Land so much, and we are going to talk about it more next week, so I guess we could just leave it there. Fire Emblem Awakening, then. This was composed by Hiroki Morishita and Rei Kondo. I've never played Fire Emblem Awakening. And
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of my biggest, like, Nintendo knowledge gaps, personally. Like, this game revitalized Fire Emblem. It was being made as, like, the final Fire Emblem game if it didn't sell well enough and stuff. And, like, it succeeded. It revitalized the brand and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't care that much when it came out. I couldn't tell you why. I've never been super into Fire Emblem, but I've played a few of them, and I quite like Three Houses. I'm sure we've talked about that before too. But because it came out this morning, I haven't had the time to, like, really sit down and listen to a whole bunch of the soundtrack yet. I did listen to, like, I don't know, like 10, 12 songs, and yeah, what's here is very good. I just want to shout out that, like, the character creator or avatar selection screen, id Beginnings, is fantastic. That's one of the coolest, like, character creator screens I've ever listened to.
Yeah, you know, I have a few things to say about this, actually. So I love Fire Emblem Awakening. It is in my top 5, like, most played 3DS games. And it was my first Fire Emblem game. It was the first one I got really into. I really enjoyed all the 3DS Fire Emblem games. Like, I really liked them. But this one was my favorite of those 3DS Fire Emblem games. And so, you know, the reaction to this dropping was kind of funny, because I saw both, like Phelan in our Discord was really excited about it. I saw people on, like, Blue Sky excited about it, and I was like, wow, like, I love this game, but I don't think I've ever really thought that much about the music, you know? Like, I don't remember the music being a standout element of the game to me. So it was interesting to me to see so many people, like, hyped that it was added. And then I started listening to it today, and I was like, oh yeah, actually, not only is this quite good, but it's more nostalgic than I was expecting. Like, I did find the music, like, it was taking me back. I was like, oh man, yeah, like, I do remember this more than I think I gave it credit for, which is why I think it's important to have, you know, drops like this where you can kind of appreciate the music on its own. My favorite thing about this, there are a couple of very funny things. The track listing on this is insane.
Yes, it is.
Because some of them just have, you know, like little, you know, normal titles, Conquest and Destiny, but then most of them are, like, quotes from the game.
And, like, even the accompanying screenshot in the app is that line of text that the song is named after. Yeah, so my favorite track is Oh It's Not So Bad, Lissa, Just a Healthy Little Walk. Yeah, that's my favorite song from Fire Emblem Awakening. Also, there's a very funny, I don't know, like, how this got through or how nobody noticed it. There's a song the song is Let's See What I'm Capable of Now. And the screenshot is for the class change, and that's, you know, the song that plays when you change your class.
but because the aspect ratio of the song pictures is a
I
square,
saw this too. Yeah,
it just looks like Ass-chan.
yeah.
And I just thought that was pretty great. So this was like I think objectively for me the funniest Nintendo. I laughed the most at this one.
That's how we should start ranking these, is like how much humor value there is to them. Or maybe
Right.
I'll consider it in the actual grade, is the added humor value. Yeah, I was when I was scrolling through this morning and started noticing all these these quoted lines as the song names. I haven't looked up the soundtrack like outside of the Nintendo Music app yet, so I haven't seen what the songs are called. Like, are they actually called that on the official soundtrack release? I doubt it.
Yeah.
At the same time, why would they call it that? Because I do feel like, it's weird though. Because like even looking at like Mario Paint stuff, the Nintendo Music app had different names for those songs than like anywhere else I could find listed. So I don't know if like Nintendo just has the actual, they have the files and library to know what it's actually called, or is it that like they have like the raw files that aren't even fully named yet either, so like they don't even know what the official title eventually was down the road? I don't know, but there's no way that can be the actual soundtrack like names. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it's very funny that it's there.
Yeah, I don't like just pouring through this, I was just kind of giggling to myself, like, what the hell is going on? So, like, but just from that aspect alone, I appreciated this drop.
Yeah. Like I said, I genuinely was laughing in bed this morning when I was looking at them. Like, yeah, this is gonna be a mess. Also, for me, when I want to like go and find a song that we mention on here, if those aren't the official names, I'm not going to bother getting that specific song you just
I'm not about to go pouring, like, listening to every song on the OST and try to find out what that is.
But Id Beginnings, y'all will get. Because that one is like the third song that plays, and it has to be called Id Beginnings. There's no way. When it comes to ratings, I keep bouncing back and forth even now between a C+ and a B- because I think Fire Emblem Awakening is a strong add, and again the humor value and whatever, but then adding the rest of the Kirby and the Forgotten Land is just so not interesting. I'll be a nice guy and I'll bump it up to a B- because I do think Fire Emblem Awakening is a good add, and again, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is one of the best modern Nintendo soundtracks, and it's cool that it's all on here now. It just shouldn't have been added in the way that it was added.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I had B- in mind for this as well. That's co-signed. That's exactly where I'm at. I think that like yeah, I'm glad that the Kirby and the Forgotten Land OST is complete now. But like even when they did the first drop, most of the best stuff in the game was part of that first drop anyway. So like the second drop was always going to be kind of worse, you know, regardless. So I don't know, just a baffling thing. I'm glad it's behind us now. Yeah, don't do it again, Nintendo.
Yeah, we had the second half of the Kirby and the Forgotten Land soundtrack hanging over our heads for months, and now we can breathe a sigh of relief as it's finally over.
Yeah.
With that said, let's take a break. We're going to listen to Night Play and Rub with the Toothbrush from Chibi-Robo. Again, Chibi-Robo was another one where I was finding very different names in from different sources.
Me too.
For what they're called. I specifically went with what was listed here because I just liked Rub with the Toothbrush as a song title so much. So again, that's Night Play and Rub with the Toothbrush from Chibi-Robo, and we will be back. That was Night Play and Rub with the Toothbrush. So Night Play is obviously the night exploration song that we mentioned before. Not that like they're both very good. The In Broad Daylight and Night Play are both very good. But if you gun to my head, I think I like Night Play more.
Yeah.
There's kind of more nuance going on. Like again, it kind of has that mystery feel emphasized a little bit more, which makes sense. With how small Chibi-Robo is and the fact that like even just like climbing onto a couch becomes like a journey in a way.
Yeah.
This song really then gives you the feel of like you're like an 8-year-old kid and you got up to get like a glass of water in the middle of the night and like you don't know what's going on exactly, and like like shapes might be moving in ways you're not expecting, and like again, we haven't gotten super far into it yet, but yeah, at least at the beginning of the game, all the humans are asleep at night, but all the toys are awake and walking around and doing stuff. Like the humans are very non-threatening in this game, but the toys can be threatening. And also
Right.
because they're more on the level of Chibi-Robo himself, it feels more personal and it feels like you don't know what you're getting into. So yeah, you have all this stuff going on. It's night and dark. The music is a little bit more mysterious. The humans are asleep and there's the weird toys wandering around. It all lends to this feel of, I got up to get a glass of water and I don't know what the hell's happening kind of vibe.
Yeah, these guys got like rats in their drain pipes. Like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, I think that's perfectly put, because I definitely remember. It's funny because like when I think back to my childhood now, I'm like, oh yeah, like the anxiety signs were definitely there the whole time, because like I when I was a kid, I would do exactly what you just described, like wake up in the middle of the night, try to get myself like a drink of water or something like that. But I would always have this moment like before I was like leaving my bedroom door where I'm like, oh, there's definitely intruders out there. Like,
Oh, I might never see this again.
yeah, like there, I need to run and get the water quickly, because there are definitely people who have broken into my house
Right.
and are waiting to like kidnap me out there. So yeah, that's a funny way of putting it. It does kind of feel like that. It kind of feels like a little like getting up to something music, but it kind of has like a little bit of like tension to the getting up to something,
Mhm,
you know.
mhm.
Yeah,
Like a
there's that
heist.
element.
Like
Yeah.
there's a danger to you getting up to something. It's not just you are causing problems. There might be problems caused that put trouble upon you also. That was a crazy sentence. I'm glad I said it.
Well, even too, like, you know, we've talked about the way that like certain instrumentation conveys certain mood. Like there's a little bit of xylophone stuff in here which conveys like that childlike, that toy kind of thing. But then like the synth pads in here are kind of reverberated, which gives it that, you talked about the mystery, like that kind of, I don't know, like almost 60s mystery psychedelic kind of sound to it. It sounds like a song that would be in like Psychonauts or something like that, you know. And my favorite thing about this song though is the bass and drum interplay, because like they do this really cool thing where they play like drum kick pad on the same notes as the bass in certain spots, which makes it feel like just very punchy. I don't know. I do like this one better than, I mean, in Broad Daylight's really good, but I do like this more. And in general, I enjoyed exploring the house more at night anyway, because that's when all the toys are up, right? So
Yeah, like I do love like basically all of the characters in this game, including the humans. But yeah, the toys were just more interesting to interface with, generally
right.
speaking. When it comes to like notes on the actual song, yeah, I don't have too much here. The only real note I have here we didn't mention is there's like this very dull clunking noise that happens occasionally.
Yeah.
I was taking that as a grandfather clock kind of sound, like a
Oh,
ticking
yeah.
back and forth. But a lot of people in the YouTube comments I saw always interpreted that as like a regular like water drops in a sink kind of thing.
Mm.
Which I like that too. I think that's actually a cooler interpretation than mine. But yeah, I just thought that was real neat.
Yeah, I just kind of, because yeah, it's like this little like woodblock sound kind of on the offbeat, and I think for me, I just interpreted it as like you know, at night when your house like makes noises, you know, like kind of creaks and stuff. Like I kind of took it as that. But yeah, I like all of those interpretations. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
There's just something so moody about like a dripping faucet to me. Like I
Yeah.
just like that a lot, kind of thing. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, you mentioned like the rats in the pipes and stuff. I loved that area, but yeah, we'll
Yeah.
save that for the next break. For Rub with the Toothbrush, I was so delighted that there was actually a full version of this song on the soundtrack. Because yeah, you normally only hear this in like bits and spurts when you're scrubbing the ground with a toothbrush to clean it of like muddy footprints or dog tracks and stuff like that, or crayons on the ground. Man, Jenny's a bad kid. Who draws on the ground with
I
crayon?
know. Yeah.
But yeah, what's cool about it when you're hearing it in the game is yeah, you only hear it as you're pressing the A button repeatedly to scrub the ground. So even if you're scrubbing multiple things in a small area, it's still you're only gonna hear bits and pieces of it. So to actually hear it fully like this was pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, it's this is like the one when was it Newt Newt? Yeah, Newt Newt.
Mm-hmm.
When they requested this episode, you know, 5 years ago now, whenever that was. You know, I didn't really like remember a lot of Chibi-Robo's music, so it had been so long since I played it, except for this. This was like the one thing I remember, like, oh yeah, that toothbrush song rules. But what I love about it, so like it's this very raw, like acoustic guitar little descending passage, which I think is great. It really just feels like somebody's like noodling around on that thing. Like it feels like somebody just kind of like fire. It even has, if you listen to the song on its own, it's got like room tone in there that like I have to imagine was intentional, because like they could have cleaned it up, like the rest of the OST is pretty like clean in the production, but this feels very raw. Like it feels like they just the composer was just like, yeah, I got something here, turn on the mic real quick, and just like noodled that out. It's very like Kazumi Tataka coded to me, this little thing. And this is another situation where, as you mentioned, because it's playing while you're scrubbing, the way that you're scrubbing is you're tapping the A button. Like every tap of the A button is like a scrub. And because you like the song so much and you want to hear it uninterrupted, you wind up mashing the A button faster, and that makes you clean better. And also you're getting to hear more of the song. So it's like another example of how the music and the gameplay are kind of working together in this game,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it rules.
Both because of the music itself when you're scrubbing, but also just like the animation and how satisfying it is to actually do the scrubbing. Every time I'm like, oh yes, the dog left footprints on the ground today. I can't wait to go get
Yes, I got so stoked every time. Like, I think by the end of the game, because every now and then Telly will like update you on like how many like cleaning bonuses and stuff that you've gotten. Mm-hmm. Dude, I got so many cleaning bonuses by the end of the game. Like, it was insane.
I was so happy. I'm like, oh, thank God! Like the deadbeat dad actually went and watered the flowers outside today. Now I can. He tracked mud in here. Now we can scrub it. That's also you get happiness points from it, which is also very handy and kind of the main goal of the game, at least in terms of upgrading yourself and whatever. I don't have too many other notes on the song itself. Like Seth said, like the interplay of the music and the gameplay, they really like, it's all so intertwined, and it's just so cool to me. And I love even the animation itself of Chibi like scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush. Like it looks satisfying because of like how he's designed and how much bigger the toothbrush is than he is. Yeah, I loved this. Like when I got the toothbrush, I think that was like when I fully fell in love with this game.
Yeah, and it's like with the exception of, I guess, the Chibi Copter, it's I think like the second thing you get. It's real early that you get it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it anytime soon probably, but it's interesting how open-ended the game is, because I feel like you could just like entirely skip out on a lot of stuff and like get things out of order. I was very impressed with that. Like the game is actually, again, we'll save it mostly, but the game actually has some interesting design choices and structure that I think are kind of ahead of their time, especially because this was like a Nintendo published family game and stuff. I'm glad that we're about ready to talk about Chibi-Robo because
let's do it. Yeah.
Let's get in there then. So Chibi-Robo, or I saw on like Wikipedia, sometimes they call it the full thing, like Chibi-Robo plug into adventure. No.
Right.
We're just calling it Chibi-Robo. I don't like the plug into adventure thing.
In the community, they refer to it as like PIA, or because there's a bunch of different Chibi-Robo games, but yeah.
Right. I just like calling it Chibi-Robo. It's fun. We don't need to get into the granular to that degree. But yeah, Chibi-Robo is an adventure game released for the Nintendo GameCube in 2005 in Japan and 2006 everywhere else. You play as Chibi-Robo, this tiny little helper robot living in the Sanderson home. Chibi-Robo, again, if you don't know what he looks like, you should look it up. He's one of the best video game character designs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later, but the whole reason this game didn't get canceled is because Shigeru Miyamoto just liked his design, which is
he's like, that's a good dude.
He's like one of the best little dudes I've ever seen. But yeah, he's like this little 4-inch tall robot. He's basically pretty basic. He's chrome. He's got like black dot eyes. He's got a flat head, and his arms and legs, I guess, are pretty long and spindly. But yeah, it's a very basic design, but he is extremely, extremely cute. One of the all-time greats.
It's the cord though. The power cord is what sells the whole design, because he, a big part of the gameplay, which I know you're about to tap into, is that you have to recharge yourself. Like you have to, Chibi-Robo is like dragging behind him this massive power cord, which is kind of like, as a cleaner, like helper robot, kind of a terrible design. Like to
Yeah.
have this thing that has to stay plugged in. And what's funny is in a future game they kind of deal with that a little bit, but it's, you know, like it's a great piece of design because you're dragging this thing behind you, and you like, it's part of that hindrance that we talked about before, like the fact that you're always carrying this like thing that is kind of tethered to you. You have to reckon with it. You have to pick it up and move it around, and it, you know, it's kind of dragging behind you the whole time. And it also, I think, just completes his design. Like without that, without the giant plug behind him, I don't think the design works nearly as well.
Yeah.
You know?
He's just a little robot otherwise. And
Yeah.
like you see, we'll talk about it later, but the creators of this are making a spiritual successor to Chibi-Robo, and I think the game looks really good, but yeah, the robot design itself is just not as strong. And yeah, he's
Right.
not carrying around a plug, which maybe that's also meant to be like a modernization thing of like, you know, you can charge things wirelessly and stuff now. I don't know. But yeah, the plug is very striking as a design choice. And even in the future games, which are very, very different, they kept that even as like a gameplay mechanic. Like, yeah, even when you're running out of juice and you need to plug into a wall, you still have to pick up your plug and plug it in. But even the simple act of picking up your plug uses some extra juice. So like if you're real low and you go to pick up your plug to plug it in and charge up, that might knock you out because you waited too
Right.
long and stuff. But that is just it's a cool, yeah, character design, but yeah, also just a cool gameplay feature. Chibi-Robo in universe, they're kind of marketed as these little assistants that run around your home and spread happiness. And kind of the main way you accomplish that, or at least the intended way in the marketing, is that you are cleaning the home. Like you're again scrubbing the floor, you're taking care of stuff. And I think the idea is also just that you're so cute that just looking at you is supposed to make people happy, and it does. But this Chibi-Robo, in this specific instance with the Sandersons, you also end up like saving their marriage and their lives and their
Yeah.
family, as well as like resurrecting an old robot and stuff. I mean, spoilers, but this is a 20-year-old game. I think we're fine.
Yeah.
So it becomes this super interesting thing of you are spreading happiness to power up. The more happiness points you get a better battery life, and then you can explore more of the house and then spread even more happiness. Like literally, like you're meeting all these different characters. Again, most of them toys, and they all have very goofy, overt personalities. So again, in this case, like spreading happiness can mean basically everything, essentially, from picking up trash or yeah, scrubbing the floor or holding a funeral concert for an inert sunflower toy to saving the Sanderson family from evil spider robots. Like everything is contributing to spreading happiness. But again, even small acts are contributing to that, like drinking tea with the mom and listening to her complain about her husband, which I really like that a lot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you end up interacting with all these characters, the humans, the dog, the toys. And yeah, that's where kind of the main appeal of the game is just interacting with all these different characters and solving their issues and hearing them out. It also, we should not forget to mention Telly, who is like your manager. He's like a screen-shaped flying television robot. But Chibi-Robo doesn't talk. He just says yes or no. And Telly is kind of like the Navi of this game, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
from a gameplay perspective, you are mostly just exploring the various rooms and areas of the Sanderson home. You're meeting these characters. You're unlocking new tools like the toothbrush and stuff. You're unlocking outfits, and those unlock new ways for you to interact with the world, like a frog suit that lets you talk to frogs, or a space captain outfit that lets you do a pose and stuff that has a purpose and stuff. And then yeah, you're doing all these things to gain happiness points, to get powered up and get a bigger battery, and then explore more of the house. And then the general setup of the story is that the husband of the household, he lost his job and he doesn't seem to be looking for new work, and the whole family's under like financial duress. He is sleeping on the couch because his wife is mad at him, and then their daughter is dissociating and just refuses to take off a big frog hat and is only speaking frog language.
I mean, she was cursed by a wizard.
Yes,
So
that's true. But yeah, it's this pretty comical setup, but like the things that it leads to are very very like interesting and sad and bittersweet and even dark at times. But yeah, that's kind of the main thrust of the game. Like there's not too much else to explain gameplay wise there. It's just, yeah, you're meeting new characters and upgrading yourself by spreading happiness. Is there anything else that I miss gameplay wise that you feel is important to go over?
no, I mean, just to say that what ends up making the loop of that so pleasurable is that, yeah, it is that constant feedback of kind of like setting out for your day, and your mission is to make people happy. Like your mission is to help people, either the family itself, which is like the thrust of the main story, or these various other toys that have their own drama and things going on, as you mentioned. And all of it, everything you're doing is in the service of making people happy. And then you take those happiness points and you essentially like cash them in at the end of your day to get a bigger battery, like you mentioned, to then be able to spend more time making more people happy. Like, everything is just about making people happy. And what I think really kind of like, I don't know, resonated with me more now playing it, now that I'm just kind of more thoughtful about games and game design and stuff, is like, because every action you take in this game has to be so intentional, everything costs energy. Literally every moment that Chibi-Robo is not plugged in is costing him energy, which is his life force. Like, you are literally devoting your life, your essence, like the thing that keeps you alive, you're devoting it to the service of other people. And something about that, like, because the gameplay is tied intrinsically with that, and because you're always having to think and you're always having to concern yourself with like the layout of my day. Oh man, I'm running out of energy. I need to find my way to an outlet to recharge. Like, it's cumbersome, but it's intentionally cumbersome because it makes you think about, it makes you think about that act of service, that love language, that act of service of making somebody happy with everything you have. And you have to work so hard, and like there's something really beautiful about that. Like working hard to make a lot of people happy, I think is a beautiful sentiment. And there have been other games that kind of tap into this. I've brought up The Spirit and the Mouse before, Miscellaneous A Tiny Tale I've brought up before, but nothing like, there really has never been another game that handles this like this. Like, that handles this concept this way, this elegantly, in a way that feels this true to the idea. And I was really taken with that replaying it. I was like, man, this just notion of really having to like bust your ass to make people happy. I just I found it very moving. Very moving.
Yeah, I have a note coming up. The game it reminds me the most of is actually by one of the same directors. It's Moon, where if you're not aware, Moon is this. It's meant to be a subversion of RPGs. Like, you are a kid that was playing an RPG. You get sucked into this RPG world, but you're not the hero. You are someone that is like trying to help all of the like villagers and even help the monsters and prevent them from being killed by the hero, who's just kind of like a sociopath, like running around like killing and breaking everything. And yeah, like I said, it's by one of the same directors, and I could see so much of its design language here in Chibi-Robo, but this being on the GameCube and this having this unique sense of scale for the time of like, yeah, you're this tiny little robot, and so everything in the world is so huge and vast. Like, the living room seems like an entire like city block to you, basically. It just added so much to the scale. And again, the fact that, yeah, you're working so hard to spread happiness. And in the case of Moon, you're like a helpless little dude, but you're still a normal sized dude. Whereas in Chibi-Robo, you are this tiny little nothing sized robot, and you are still having this big of an impact on the world and people around you. And yeah, that's, I think, what really, really hit me. I actually have a couple quotes here from Kenichi Nishi, who is one of the directors of the game. This was from a very good interview with Time Extend from a few years ago that I found. We'll link that in the show notes as per usual. But again, this is Kenichi Nishi, co-director of Chibi-Robo. He says, Chibi-Robo is an electricity-consuming robot. So the theme of the game was the dilemma of acting for the happiness of others while also consuming electricity to do so. We were thinking of an adventure game with various episodes of a family with a robot that makes the family happy while consuming electricity. I wanted to depict that even a small, seemingly powerless robot can save his family and the world if he tries his best. This may be an unusual theme for a video game, but it's just that this is the kind of game we can only make. And yeah, I just thought, yeah, that summary is so, it's very poignant, and if anything, it hits me way harder, yeah, in 2025 than it would have in 2006, you know?
Right. The older that I've gotten, the more um the more invested I've become in, the service of others. Part of my work with the Carpool Gaming team is our efforts at Extra Life, which is a charity fundraising event that we do every year, and we work really hard on that. And the first year that I got involved with that, I was like, man, like there's nothing better than this. Like, I know that sounds cheesy, but like raising money to help sick kids, it's like, dude, I could see how somebody could devote their life to this.
Mm-hmm,
And it is
mm-hmm.
that feeling that he's talking about, that feeling that like even on the small scale that I am and that we are, like we can make a difference with these little acts of service, and it just like, I don't know, man, that stuff hits like, and that's the kind of thing that like, I don't know, like resonates with me more and more as I get older, is like kind of all that matters is helping other people and making the world a better place and making the people around you happy and being here with the people that you love. Like it's really all that matters, and that's like what the whole purpose of Chibi-Robo is.
Mm-hmm.
I just, yeah, I love that, man. That's like what really pushes this game over the edge for me.
Yeah, for me too. I mentioned it before, but yeah, I don't know, something about having tea with the wife, and she just
Mm-hmm.
feels so like, she says it herself, like, yeah, her husband is just kind of laying on the couch watching Sentai shows, and then their daughter is just speaking in frog all the time. Like something about having tea with her, and like how, at first she doesn't seem to like that Chibi-Robo is there because of how expensive he probably was, and the husband
Right.
shouldn't have bought him. But yeah, she quickly like you quickly become like her best friend in the house, which is kind of sad, but it's also beautiful in a way. And yeah, at one point, yeah, if she's at the sink and you scrub the sink down, like get water off of the sink for her, she goes, "Oh, what a thoughtful little guy you are! Like I should have married you instead." Like that,
Yeah.
it's just very cute and funny. Like I really, really, really love that aspect of the game. I do have a quick note here that Chibi-Robo was originally being conceived as like a point and click adventure game that was being published by Bandai before they decided to nix it. There is footage online of this. I watched a little bit of it, and yeah, it looks kind of like a much slower paced Chibi-Robo. And yeah, you were just kind of telling him where to go as opposed to directly
Right.
controlling him yourself. Again, you can definitely see the groundwork being laid, but from what I can see, we definitely got the better game in this case.
Yeah.
And yeah, that did get canceled, but Shigeru Miyamoto, maybe the most famous game developer of all time, saw it and took an interest in it, specifically, again, the design of Chibi-Robo himself. So he wanted Nintendo to swoop in and help finish it. That was when Kensuke Tanabe came on as producer, and the game changed from a point and click to this adventure style game it now is. And specifically, they just wanted it to be not point and click because Nintendo was concerned about wanting the game to feel intuitive and something that anyone could play. Because, yeah, this game was definitely meant in some way for children. And I think point and click adventure games, especially in 2006, that just wasn't in vogue at the time. And yeah, it doesn't really Yeah, not intuitive is the right word for it. But have you ever watched any of that footage of the point and click version? Do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting, but yeah, this was the right call. And quite frankly, the game didn't need anything making it less sellable.
Right.
The game didn't need help being less marketable than it already was. And like Chibi-Robo kind of has this like story to history of every release being like
Curse.
just like the circumstances of them are just bad. Like they're always bad, and it's just never done the series any favors. So I can only imagine what releasing this as a point and click game in 2006 would have done. It probably would have, never had more than one entry.
Right. I do have a couple notes here about the developer themselves. This is developed by Skip Limited. Skip has a very interesting history and lineage that I wasn't fully aware of until now. It was made up of a bunch of former employees of Love Delic, who, again, was most known for Moon Remix RPG Adventure. And also most of the Love Delic people came from Squaresoft at the time. And then, that was when I learned that Kenichi Nishi, who was one of the directors of Chibi-Robo, also was the director on Moon. He's also the founder of both Love Delic and Skip Limited. So I have a few other things that he worked on here. He did do, I think it was field planning in both Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG. So already he's worked on two of the most beloved games of all time. Then, he directed Moon Remix RPG Adventure. He was a writer and planner on Incredible Crisis, which is one of my favorite PS1 games, actually. He was the director on Gift Pia, which was a Japanese-only GameCube release that was kind of like Animal Crossing adjacent, from what I remember. Then was co-director on Chibi-Robo and also worked on Captain Rainbow. If you are someone that was around in the Wii days, when Nintendo was kind of being stingy with localizing smaller, weirder games, Captain Rainbow kind of became a lot of people's white whale, and we never got it, mostly because there was a sex toy involved in the game that we don't need to get into it, but it does not surprise me that Captain Rainbow did not get localized at the time. I wrote those games specifically down. He's worked on more, but I just wanted to note those ones specifically because this dude has worked on some of the most beloved cult games of all time, and I was not aware that all these games had the same DNA in it.
Well, yeah, and a lot of them even have that similar. I mean, you made the comparison between Chibi-Robo and Moon earlier. A lot of these games kind of have that similar theming. Captain Rainbow's kind of like that too.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played it, but you can tell this guy has a mission or a design sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. Even the Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG stuff, even that flavor is still kind of in there. I get it. Knowing that he was involved, I'm that tracks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then Chibi-Robo was also co-directed by Hiroshi Moriyama, who is a lot harder to find information on because he shares a name with a Japanese politician. So that's probably why it was harder. But from what I could see, he mostly has worked on stuff for Skip Limited, including multiple of the Chibi-Robo games. And then, he recently was on social media sharing concept art and insights into Chibi-Robo to celebrate the re-release on NSO, which that's always cool when that happens.
Yeah.
Again, it is worth noting that both Kenichi Nishi and Hiroshi Moriyama are back together working on the crowd-funded spiritual successor to Chibi-Robo, Ko-Robo, I assume is how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Mm.
Also, the composer and sound designer of Chibi-Robo, Hirofumi Taniguchi, is involved as well. As far as I'm aware, this is aiming for a 2026 release, and yes, it looks like Chibi-Robo in basically every way, just with a slightly different robot character. I do have a question. How much did you back Ko-Robo for, and did you enjoy your dinner with the developers?
I did back it, but just at the basic, the level that gets me the game, which I think was $40 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm looking forward to that because, like I mentioned, there's nothing else that really has that kind of very intentional design, and this does look like it, even though it does have some, you know, modern design sensibilities. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to be as cumbersome. Like, I haven't watched the trailer in a while, but doesn't like that dude, like the new robot Ko-Robo or whatever, he has like a jet pack or something.
I think he's got like jet boots or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, you know, so it looks like it's going to be a little bit like easier to get around, I guess. But, you know, like it does still very much look like it is kind of respecting that lineage and that like very intentional design. Like, I can always, you know, like for me, I'm like, how hard is it going to be to get up like a chair? You know, that's what I want to know. Like, I want to know, if it takes me less than like 30 seconds to get onto a couch, then I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I want to work for it.
You know, maybe I'm riding the high of playing Chibi-Robo for the first time. But yeah, knowing that like so many of the original creators are back, I wasn't aware of that. I was aware that this game existed, but I didn't realize that like this is being directed by 3 people. The other director has also worked on some of the other Chibi-Robo games. Like they literally brought like the Mount Rushmore of Chibi-Robo developers back together to work on this. So I have hopes that they understand to a certain degree that the game should be pushing back against you in like little small ways like that. So I would hope that they understand that, but yeah, who knows? Yeah, like I mentioned, Hirofumi Taniguchi was the composer. I couldn't find a ton of stuff on him. He mostly seems to have worked on various games for Skip and Love to Lick. At some point, he must have been working for Konami, because I saw that he worked on Contra Hardcore in the Suikoden series. He also worked on Blackbird, which I totally forgot existed. I also found, this doesn't help podcast listeners, but for you, I put this picture of him in from his website.
It's really good.
It's pretty cool. He looks like a cool dude, like dramatically standing at a keyboard. Honestly, after hearing the soundtrack to Chibi-Robo, seeing this picture honestly makes a lot of sense. This looks like a dude that would do some of the things he did for the soundtrack. And yeah, like we mentioned earlier, to me, the soundtrack is very good in Chibi-Robo, but it's specifically like the interplay of the sound design that I find makes it most interesting. And I can confirm in the trailer for Ko-Robo or Ko-Robo that
Ko-Robo, I like that better actually.
Yeah,
Ko-Robo,
it kind of sounds better, I guess. But
yeah,
I can confirm that he did have like footstep music notes again in that trailer. So they at least know that they knew they had to have that, and they brought in the right man for the job. He's the king of footstep musical notes.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like that picture you have here in our doc. Like it looks like like a dossier or something. Like we need to call him in for one last job. Yeah, bring him out of retirement.
One last not so chibi job for.
Yeah.
I didn't know where to put this. I guess we'll just do it here real quick before we go to our next break. I want to note the rest of the series, because Chibi-Robo, despite not selling that well, did get a surprising amount of new games after this, and it seems like they each sold worse than this one, is my guess. So after the first game, we had Chibi-Robo Park Patrol for the Nintendo DS in 2007. If I remember correctly, this was sold exclusively at Walmart, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a good plan to get more people to buy your game, is to only sell it at one place.
At one retailer, yeah.
You know, I didn't watch footage of it. From what I could tell, the focus seemed to be on like growing flowers and keeping a park clean, which that's a cool theme for Chibi-Robo, I think. Did you play this at all?
Yeah, the neat thing about this was you control, like, it's not like that dissimilar from the original game. It's really just the context of it. Like, yeah, it's not really about cleaning or being in a house or whatever. You're in like a flower field and you're trying to like restore it. One thing about the Chibi-Robo series is that like you are playing as different Chibi-Robos in all of them. Like, you know, Citrus Soft is like the creator of Chibi-Robo, and you know they're a thing that like, you know, people buy. You know, it's so you are playing a different Chibi-Robo in every entry. You're not just playing the same one, which I also think is kind of interesting. So this one, you know, they have Chibi-Robos that are kind of like specialized in, agriculture and restoring this field. And there's also it's not all that, like there is still some kind of more traditional like side missions and characters and stuff. There's like a little town that you can go to, I think. It was very touch control heavy, because it was the DS, and you have like a little I remember you have the little squirt, it's not really a gun, it's like a little syringe or something. You kind of have that again, and you use the touch screen to kind of like pump out the water and water the flowers and stuff. And you can you can even get like vehicles, like you can plug into like a vehicle and drive them around with it. It was cool. Like I liked it. It was good. I remember playing it when that came out, because I liked the first one, and this came out not long after I played the first one, I think. And I dug it for what it was. I enjoyed it.
I mean, I'll be honest, I would love to play more of these now that I have played the original, but I also understand why a lot of these people just straight up don't like, because most of them do not play anything like the original game.
Right.
Though, on the flip side of that, we did have a direct sequel to Chibi-Robo in Okari Chibi-Robo Happy Richie Osoji for the Nintendo DS 2009. All of those had exclamation marks at the end. That's why I was emphasizing. This was Japan exclusive, but it is a direct sequel to the original Chibi-Robo gameplay and plot-wise. I was not aware that it was a direct sequel until you told me that, when both you and I were freaking out, geeking out in direct messages over how good the original game is. There is a fan translation of this game, and I gotta be honest, I kind of want to fire this up sooner rather than later. I don't know if I'm going to have time anytime soon, but I really do want to play this now.
I do too. It looks great. The cool thing about this is it really does evolve the gameplay in neat ways, because like Park Patrol is, it's similar, but it is ultimately a pretty big departure from what you're used to, being like helping a family in an indoor environment. Like, it's pretty different. This takes you back into an indoor environment. Not only that, Jenny, who is the young girl in the first game, is now grown up, and like she gets a Chibi-Robo, and like she has her own son and her own dog and stuff like that. Not only that, it's like it goes from, the Sandersons are a pretty like middle class family, even though even though the dad has like recently lost his job and stuff. They're still in like a 2-story house. Like it's like a nice house with like a like an ascending like spiral staircase and like it's a pretty nice house. I don't know where their bathroom is, but
yeah, that's a great question.
but it is a nice house. Jenny's house in this is like dirty, like she is lower class. Like in this one, like her house is like in downright disrepair, which is kind of interesting. And I haven't looked up too much about the story of the game, because I don't want to spoil it for myself, because I do want to play this. And yeah, I'm with you. I will probably wind up emulating this sooner rather than later, because I'm just so, I don't know, I'm so just, my mind is spinning with with the idea of playing this. The game, though, from what I understand, deals with that, like the idea that Jenny is kind of like on her own now, and she doesn't really know how to adapt to being like a mom and an adult and having to provide and stuff like this. So that sounds great. In addition to that, the gameplay of it is really interesting, because not only are you like upgrading yourself, you can also like help Jenny like furnish the house. Like you can get like you can kind of upgrade the house too, and like actually help her like kind of get the house together. You have like a vacuum cleaner. You can plug yourself into the outlet and like stay plugged in while you vacuum, which is cool. There's even like some new traversal mechanics with Telly, where you can actually control Telly and have Telly like fly up to a high ledge with the cord attached, and then kind of rappel, like kind of climb up on your own cord to get to the higher ledge where Telly is. So they've kind of made traversal a little easier, but still being very like measured and considered, like not really abandoning like the feel of the original game. it sounds like it has the potential to be like even better than this one, and I really want to play it.
Yeah, like even as much as I love Chibi-Robo for the story, like even just those gameplay additions to this sound super cool.
Yes.
Like that genuinely sounds like a cool, clever use of again the extension cord thing going on. So yeah, that it sounds great. I will definitely play this at some point. It sounds
Yeah.
fantastic. We then had Chibi-Robo Photo Finder for the Nintendo 3DS in 2013.
Yeah.
This is some kind of AR game starring Chibi-Robo. I assume that like Chibi-Robo appears like in the real world when you take like pictures on your 3DS camera or something.
It's a cute little thing, but it's, you know, it's not really like a full game or anything like that. But yeah, it's a cute little thing. Yeah, you know, nothing too crazy.
And then lastly, and probably the last ever Chibi-Robo release, we had Chibi-Robo Ziplash for the Nintendo 3DS in 2015. This is a side-scrolling platformer that eschews basically everything people liked about the series, besides the characters of Chibi-Robo and Telly. You're kind of using your extension cord as both a weapon and a grappling hook, hence the Ziplash in the title. Most notable is that, yeah, it probably killed the series because it sold so poorly, and it even had a very, very good looking Chibi-Robo amiibo.
Great
packed
amiibo.
In.
Yeah.
Fantastic amiibo. This was released at the height of my amiibo sickness, and despite having no knowledge of Chibi-Robo, I liked the amiibo so much that I bought this game solely for the amiibo, and then ended up playing it. I like this game for what it is. It's nothing remarkable. I know in the voicemails, Julia brings it up, so maybe we save any in-depth talk for it there. But
Sure.
I think Ziplash gets a bad rap, but I understand it's not as good as I get now that it's not nearly as good as the first game.
Oh, it's one of those things, right? Like there was this kind of moment, like I'm thinking of this. Hey Pikmin is another one, you know, where it's like, you know, Nintendo was experimenting with these weird kind of like side scroller spin-offs of these franchises that didn't really capture like much about what made the originals great. You know, Hey Pikmin I think is maybe closer than Chibi-Robo Ziplash was, but you know, I thought it was fine for what it was too. I wasn't that mad at it, but at the same time, if it had done well, what are they going to do? Just keep making these?
Right.
You know,
like another side-scrolling Nintendo series. Like what's that really going to do for you, kind of thing. It is also worth noting that the original Chibi-Robo did have a Wii New Play Control port that I was not aware of until just like 2 days ago, because it was only released in Japan, which again goes to show you how poorly the GameCube release did.
So, okay, so yeah, let's roll through this real quick. So we have the original, only on GameCube, very late GameCube game. We're talking about 2006. The Wii's like out when this comes out in North America. Then we have Park Patrol, only at Walmart for the DS. Then we have the new Play Control Wii port and the Japan only DS game came out within weeks of each other. So
I was not aware of that either.
I'm sure that didn't confuse anybody. Then you have Photo Finder, which is like a little 3DS like app, you know. And then you have Ziplash, which is a complete departure from the series, a fairly late 3DS game that nobody really liked. And so it's like, I don't know, man, like this series was kind of like doomed to fail at every turn, and it's a huge bummer. Like it's, I don't know, like it kind of sucks that like I feel like it never really got, I don't know, like the chance it deserved, but yeah, it is what it is.
I feel like nowadays Nintendo would have been more willing to give this another shot, now in 2025 than they were in 2015. Because you have to remember, especially Nintendo of America sucked in the Wii and Wii U days. Like I did not like a lot of decisions they were making in terms of like what to localize and what not to localize. So it feels like Chibi-Robo was one of the main victims of that. Worth noting, if people don't remember, the original release of Xenoblade was almost not localized. I think it was only because Nintendo of Europe was like, why aren't we localizing this, that series got picked up for release outside of Japan, and that's also why the Xenoblade games, all the characters are British, because they had it was Nintendo of Europe localizing it. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this era of Nintendo of America, and I don't know necessarily who to blame or if there's any specific people to blame anyway. It could just be a company-wide thing, but I like Nintendo's decisions more nowadays, even if they are sometimes just as baffling. It just feels like they don't go out of their way to harm smaller games like this as much as they were doing back then.
Right.
Is what it feels like to me. Are we ready to go on our next break then?
Let's do it.
For this break, we've got Labyrinth of Water Pipes and Teriyaki Blues, and then we're going to come back and get in depth into story thoughts on Chibi-Robo. And that was Labyrinth of Water Pipes and Teriyaki Blues, which these two might be like I don't necessarily want to say like the best songs exactly, but like the coolest songs, I think,
sure.
on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
We mentioned like going down the drain before earlier, but that happened to me on accident. Like the first time I went up on the kitchen sink, I just went into the sink and not realizing that you could go down the drain. And then all of a sudden I'm down the drain and there's a lot of money down there and there's like rats scurrying around for some reason. I lost my mind. I love things like that. Like to me, it didn't even occur to me that the game would let me do that. But then the fact that it did was super cool. And there's not even really a reason to go down there until later in the game when there's a story reason to. But
Right.
yeah, I just love the mood down here. It's real Rat Taxi vibes, which is funny how often we
Hell
bring
yeah,
up Rat
dude.
Taxi on this podcast.
I mean, you know, you can probably find a reason to relate something to something that Louis Zong has made.
That's true.
His body of work is just so crazy. It does have Rat Taxi vibes for sure. Yeah, guy who's only listened to Rat Taxi. This has some real Rat Taxi vibes. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have too many other notes on this song specifically. I just thought it was just super cool. I did note that a lot of YouTube comments were people talking about how terrified of this area they were as kids, which, yeah, this is like the classic I was scared of this area as a kid because, like, it's removed from the rest of the game. You're going down into this, like, tunnel area. It is, like, darker down there and the rats are down there, but, like, nothing, it's not actually scary, and you can tell it's not meant to be scary. It is meant to
Right.
be like hey, maybe you shouldn't come here, but it's not meant to be scary. But that's, you know, to a kid, that is what makes it scary. But yeah, I just thought that was cute that so many people were noting that.
Yeah, it's funny because like there aren't that many things in the game. Like there's the spy doors or whatever, but they're like barely a threat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the rats are definitely the most like threatening antagonistic force in the game in terms of like something that will actually like harm you in some way. So I get it. Like I get why that would be scary to a kid or something like that. But my favorite thing about the song is, you know, like when it comes to the instrumentation, like the guitar sounds very like clean,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the other instruments sound nasty.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So for me, like the guitar almost represents Chibi-Robo, this like shiny chrome cute robot kind of getting into the slop, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
getting down in there with the muck in the drain and everything. Drains are also disgusting. If you've
Yeah.
ever like had to clean a drain, it's disgusting.
Yeah, we had to pour some cleaner down our drain soon because it's starting to not go down. I just the thought of it is nasty.
Dude, if you ever like have a reason to look at the actual inside of a drain pipe, it is horrific. And so yeah, anyway, I thought that the song, like with the instrumentation, conveyed that feeling of like this clean little robot getting into this nasty ass drain with these rats. Why and how are there rats down there? Like it's so weird. Like like now that I'm an adult and I'm like replaying this and thinking about it like a little more critically, I'm like, this makes no sense.
But
You know?
also, there's a lot of money down here too, and the Sandersons are like the wife is worried about them like foreclosing on their house and like being behind on their bills. You just get a plumber, open up the pipes, and grab all this money real quick. You'll be fine.
You're throwing money in you're literally putting money down the drain. I mean, I understand that, like, you know, later you mentioned you have to go in there and find the wedding ring, and that happens, right? Like people lose their wedding rings in the drain or whatever. But it probably like y'all didn't fish that out. Like y'all didn't like go through the work of like getting that out of the drain, you know, like when you realized you lost. I don't know. Anyway,
There was this. I didn't know if I was going to bring it up. I don't know how you feel about this, but when I was looking at the soundtrack online to figure out what songs we wanted, the title of like one of the songs, I didn't write it down, but it's basically it was calling both the husband and wife like idiots, like it was calling them like doofuses or something, and I didn't know how to feel about that because, and maybe this is just the English localization. I mostly found the mom to be very, very understandable and relatable from where she's coming from. There's only one instance where she's like, yeah, I've got like a deadbeat husband and like a freak for a daughter or something.
she crashes out.
Yeah,
She crashes out.
That part I'm like, damn, like that's that's pretty
Yeah.
rough. Because like I was on team mom up until that point. Like, oof, calling your daughter a freak is pretty rough. But I wonder if in like the Japanese original, like she's portrayed as like less competent, especially now knowing that like in the sequel that Jenny doesn't do a great job on her own as like a housekeeper and stuff. So I wonder if that's the intentionality, is that like Yeah, she just lets things roll down the train all the time.
Yeah, okay. So yes, I think that's true. Also, their house is a mess. It's a pigsty. You know, like it's horrible. You go into into the kitchen, and to say nothing of like the footprints and the trash everywhere, like the fruit has like flies on it and stuff. Like,
is there
she's
a way
not feeding her goldfish?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Is there a way to do anything about those flies? I never figured it out if there was something you could do.
I don't know either, but it, you know, I think it does just go to show that like, yeah, they have problems like as people, like they, you know, they are flawed people. And I think that the game angles you early on to be like anti-dad, so that dad's arc, you know, at the end of the game when it's kind of revealed, like what is actually going on with dad, you know, I think that it allows for that turning point to like hit stronger. But yeah, I think that they're both very flawed when you really sit and analyze it, and it's reflected in the character of Jenny, who is completely dissociating, and she's like drawing pictures of like her mom yelling at her dad and stuff like that. And you know, it's really sad. And you know, and they're both good people. If you talk to, you know, the dad and the mom separated, they're both nice, and they both love Chibi-Robo. They both love Jenny. And it reminds me of, you know, like my parents got divorced when I was a kid, and I was kind of going back and forth between staying with my mom and staying with my dad, and they both loved me on their own, and I loved them kind of independently, but they hated each other. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the vibe, you know. And I don't know, it's interesting. It's but yeah, neither one of them, I mean, are great people, to the point too where like at a certain point, like the mom, rather than dealing with any of the problems head on or having a mature conversation, like locks herself in the room and threatens divorce. You know, pretty immature.
I did like when she hands you the letter, but it's in like that heart envelope and stuff, and then she's like, can you deliver this to my husband? And then he's like, oh, this must be a love letter, I'll just read it out loud. Like, he's
completely blindsided by it.
That is one of the most classic like pratfalls I've ever seen. Like, oh yeah, I'll just read this letter out loud.
You can tell they were setting it up, like, I'll definitely read this out loud for everybody.
It's I guess I wasn't thinking about the flies as like a sign of her incompetence at the time, but yeah, you're right, like that is on her. And yeah, it's funny because she's like, I'm gonna stop doing the chores, and then even the husband's like, I'm gonna, when she threatens him with the divorce, he's like, I'm gonna start doing the chores again. All he does is sometimes he's watering the flowers and then tracking mud into the house that I have to clean up, or he's asking me to help flip some burgers. Like, dude, this is the easiest job in the world. You can't even cook burgers.
He can't even cook burgers without my help. In addition to that, we're really getting into it now. In addition to that, you know, and, you know, full spoilers, whatever. At the moment in the game when you go back into the past, even back then when they were quote unquote happy, they were incompetent. They were so busy arm wrestling Giga-Robo that Teo the dog is just starving. Like they're not feeding him. He's like whining and looking at his empty bowl, you know,
right?
Like they're incompetent adults.
It's very funny. Like I don't know. The game is super well written, and like little moments like that. I guess we'll back off of some of this stuff for now, since we still have another song to get into. Was there anything else you wanted to add about Labyrinth of Water Pipes?
Yeah, no, sorry. I didn't mean to take us so far afield there.
No, it's fine, because again, this is like our open-ended section anyway. For Teriyaki Blues, I really don't have like almost any notes, except that I wrote, it's like Frank Sinatra crossed with Splatoon, Rio Dino Spumoni at the dentist coded is what I have.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, first of all, Teriyaki Blues is an amazing title for a song. That rules. Yeah, kind of cute, kind of sad, has those like warbly Splatoonish vocals, kind of has like a rockabilly blues kind of vibe, but also like a 60s soap opera kind of vibe that you would see on like TV, like kind of Days of Our Lives coded. I would love to just read the lyrics here
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because I love the lyrics. Big otaku, karate, geisha, karaoke, Harajuku, anime, ninja, hokey pokey. Your your foolish lies, your cheating eyes, you're getting love on the side. I'm such a Casanova, why don't you come on over? My secret love comes in mild or spicy, teriyaki blues. Whoa. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Where does the song specifically play? I remember hearing it, but I don't remember specifically where it played in the game.
It's when you complete the Dinah and Funky Phil story, I think is where it plays. Yeah,
'Cause that is my favorite story in the game, or side story, whatever you want to call it. So we will talk about that. But okay, I didn't remember that's where it played, but now I kind of I am picturing it now. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to be Telly singing it too.
Yeah, it definitely is, because it has his same.
Yeah, that signature Telly warble. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife listening to me play the game on the couch on handheld the entire time. Every time Telly talks, she's just like, there's a lot of talking in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have too many other notes about Teriyaki Blues. I do just want to note that we had to have this in here because it really underlines just how extra so much of this game is. Like, it is such a detail-oriented game and such a lovingly crafted, goofy, silly, fun time game, despite the serious themes at times. And yeah, they didn't need to put this song in here, or like put this much weird effort into it, or invent the Splatoon genre like 8 years before Splatoon existed. It's just a cool, fun song, and I really loved it.
Yeah, it's great. And again, y'all had to be exposed to the title Teriyaki Blues. That's probably one of my favorite song titles that we've ever had on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great. We do have another one coming up that actually might, for me, I think might surpass it, but we'll wait till the next break. I guess then we can just talk about anything you want. So I don't know if you have any specific side stories or even main story stuff you want to touch on.
God, I mean, there's a lot. There's something I was thinking about bringing up earlier when it comes to the character of Jenny and like the relationship that she has with the dad and the mom and stuff like that. There's a very simple thing that the game does, like little teeny tiny details that really hit me. After, there's the big crash out, the mom locks herself in the bedroom, threatens to divorce the dad, and the dad kind of like wakes up in that moment, right? He's kind of like, oh wow, like I didn't realize it had gotten this bad, and like I kind of need to like get my act together, and so he tries in his own way to start taking care of the garden and and watering the plants in the backyard and trying and failing to cook the burgers and stuff like that. There's a couple of like really sad moments where after you help the dad make the burgers, he makes 3 of them for himself, Jenny, and the mom refuses to eat them. Mm-hmm. And so he ends up just feeding it to Teo. But like the dog, and like that to me hit, like that kind of just like, I don't know, but you could tell he was still trying to keep like a straight face, like for Jenny, like he was trying not to be visibly too upset about it. And something about like the facial animations of this game, even though they're very stilted, like really hit. Like anytime Jenny was sad, Jenny's sad face breaks my heart.
Yeah, yes. It's so sad. Yeah.
It kills me. Anytime she just has that like 1,000-yard stare, it kills me. Anytime I see her sad face, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to hug this kid, And then like after the divorce stuff happens, the dad's like, he's not sleeping on the couch anymore. He like has a sleeping bag upstairs, like sleeping upstairs outside of the door where his wife is. And he has like his little, his little book of like Drake Redcrest or whatever. And I'm like, man, like, these are little tiny details. They could have just kept it would have been easy to just keep the dad's model sleeping where he's always slept, But like having that little decision to like, no, you know what? He wants to be closer to his wife. He's going to sleep outside of that door. I'm like, damn, man. Like, that stuff hits.
Yeah, the him sleeping in the sleeping bag outside in the hallway, that did get me real good because
Yeah.
like that's a cool thing that Chibi-Robo does is like the world state is constantly changing. Like when you advance
Yes.
either the main plot or even side stories, like characters end up going to different spots and doing different things and whatever. And it's very noticeable with the humans because they're the biggest things in the game, like literally the biggest people in the game. And so yeah, he was always sleeping on the couch, and then all of a sudden he's not there, and I'm like, whoa, like where did he go? And yeah, that night I went upstairs and saw him sleeping. The game doesn't like explicitly tell you that; you just have to find that out on your own, and like that is
Mhm.
so cool to me. And yeah, the game is just full like that is the game. It's just exploring the house at day or night and finding all these different world changes and state changes and like what all these new characters are doing every time you advance their stories and stuff. It is something else. Like that is what got me more than anything, which is I couldn't stop playing because I wanted to see what was about to happen in terms of like where characters would now go, like both literally and emotionally, you know?
Right. Yeah, it becomes this thing where you're kind of like, oh man, like I can't wait. I want to keep playing because I can't wait to see what the house is like now. I can't wait to, progress this quest line or do this thing on night 2. And like it kind of taps into almost like that same feeling you can sometimes get when you're playing like Animal Crossing. Like, I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. Like every cool thing is happening tomorrow, and I think that's really good and effective in this. And the way that the way that the house, like, it's very, I mean, it's ultimately only like, I don't know, 5 or 6 locations or something. You've got the backyard, the living room, the kitchen, the bedroom, the basement, and Jenny's room. So I guess like 6 locations if you're not including smaller locations like the drain and stuff. But man, I don't know, that stuff was all effective to me. And at most you only have 15 minutes. Like even if you buy like the 15-minute timer, that's the maximum amount of time you get to explore. So you almost never are, you're always feeling like, damn, I wish I had more time to do more, and in that way, I guess it kind of does feel like Majora's Mask, as you called out earlier. So yeah, I don't know, that all really worked for me.
Yeah, I'll also say I was keeping like a note file on my phone of like, okay, like the next time I play, I want to like do this, this, and this. I got this item. I don't know what it does exactly yet. Because again, the game doesn't explain this stuff. Like even when you buy upgrades back at the Chibi house, which we didn't really talk about, but you can like buy these utilibots that like create ladders or bridges for you in various environments. But like they don't always tell you where they even are. So like, okay, I bought a bridge for the bedroom. I don't even know where it is. I didn't know I could even get up to like the rafters of the bedroom until I was in the post game.
Right.
I haven't kept notes on my phone about a video game like that since I played Elden Ring the first time. And again, I'm not saying this game is as complicated or as deep as Elden Ring, of course, but I'm just saying that like that's how invested I was into this game and its world and its story and mechanics and like I was so excited to play more that even when it was time for bed, I'm like, okay, I gotta type this down in my phone so I remember I wanted to do this, this, and this tomorrow when I play next. Like I love that stuff. It's the perfect level of not telling you what everything does. Like when you get the frog suit, you don't know that you can talk to frogs now. Or Jenny also, that all of a sudden she'll talk to you normally because you're also a frog now. You just have to intuit that, and it's so cool that the game lets you figure that out on your own.
Yeah, like that moment of like, oh wow, like now that I have this suit that allows me to talk to frogs, like wait a minute, like Jenny thinks she's a frog,
right?
Like that moment is so cool. And like I love the way that the other characters will kind of like remark on it too, like even if it doesn't do anything to them functionally, like they'll notice, like they'll say like, oh, you're so cute with that outfit, Chibi or Chibo or whatever, that the mom calls you. There's funny little details too. Did you ever find Mr. Prongs? Did you do that?
I don't think so.
there's a character called Mr. Prongs. When you get the Chibi radar, which is a little radar that can pop out of your head and it just kind of aims somewhere in the living room, and all the game tells you is that the radar will point you to, like previously invisible things or whatever. The radar, if you use it in the living room, will point you to a very specific spot. And I think it's random, like the spot that it points you to. But if you use the spoon in that spot, this character will pop out of the ground. His name is Mr. Prongs. And he's like a naked baby with a diaper.
Okay.
He's like a blue and like purple like baby, but his head is like an electrical plug, and he just asks you to keep hitting the ground with the spoon because he likes the music that it makes. And so all he does is he just sits there and dances and gets bigger as you use the spoon on the ground until eventually he gives you some money and happy points and disappears. That's the kind of thing that like that sense of discovery, the game never tells you that, but like you can just bump into it if you're tinkering around with it. Another fun little detail that I never knew. I have loved this game for like 20 years. Never knew this. I was cleaning something in the foyer. I forgot to mention the foyer is also a location. I was cleaning something on the floor with a toothbrush in the foyer, and I accidentally used it a little close to the sergeant of the Free Rangers, and he took it as like there was dialogue for it. He thought that I was cleaning his boots.
What?
And
that's sick.
And he pays you for it. He gives you like 1,000 moolah for it. Yeah. I'm like, this game's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, the Mr. Prongs thing is funny because I just stopped using the radar whenever I got all the chibi doors in a room. So I just never used it in the living room anymore past a certain point. So that's why I didn't find that. But yeah, that's super cool. That boot cleaning thing in particular. Yeah, that is neat. Like I was telling you this the other day, maybe when we were talking about Mario Party. Like the game reminds me of like La Mulana, or even more recently, like Barbuda in UFO 50. Like there is like this level of, we're just gonna let you run around and figure it out. Now, unlike La Mulana and Barbuda, again, you can't really die in this game or anything. Like there's not much punishment for anything, but it's just cool that like this really is like a modernization of a point and click adventure game for 2006. But it's also like Nintendo-ified in that you're directly controlling the character, and also like the stakes aren't super high, but also they kind of are emotionally, even if not like physically.
Yes.
And I was blown away by all that. And you telling me the boot thing, like I want to go boot the game up right now and like test that out.
Crazy.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It's wild that it's in there, and you get so invested in like the little ins and outs of these characters' lives. Like, yeah, dude, I want to make sure the mummy and the princess get together. Like and I love how like I love the way that storyline plays out, where you have to like the princess ends up learning that the mummy toy like is the one who's been giving her these like dead flowers, and she's charmed by that, but she's also scared. Like she can't help but be scared of him. So what you have to do is you have to put on this like ghost costume and like scare her over and over again until she eventually builds up like a scare tolerance. And I'm just like, dude, like it's so good. It's so heartfelt. And like he's like this big scary mummy toy that like is insecure about how scary he is and that he's not scary enough. But then like the princess that he loves, it like doesn't want anything to do with him at first. And I love all of that stuff. The Funky Phil and Dinah stuff. Like I love all of these little stories.
Yeah, I think Mort and the princess, and then Funky Phil and Dinah. Those are my two favorite of the side stories or whatever. Did you have any other specific ones you wanted to shout out besides those two?
Those are the two big ones for me. I did like the Free Ranger stuff, like the you know how they were all like hell bent on seeing Teo as this like menace that like they assumed killed like one of their you know, one of their men or whatever, and so you have to do like a rescue mission to, you know, to like save him once it's discovered that he's like still alive. Like you can get like his dog tags and stuff, and they're like training to take on Teo, and at a certain point some of them go AWOL, you know, and I liked that.
Yeah, one runs away to go be like a 1950s greaser driving like a toy sports car, and then a couple others go off to be space fighter pilots and stuff. It's very, very good. I think besides the Dinah and Funky Phil one, which we have to talk about, maybe we'll talk about that after the break anyway.
Sure.
I did want to shout out I forget his name. Is it Sunshine, like the teddy bear or whatever?
Yes. Who's a drug addict?
Yeah, so there's this teddy bear of Jenny's, and she's mostly holding on to it until like a certain point in the game, so it doesn't get a chance to like interact with Chibi as much until later. That like it's obsessed with nectar, and so you can give it nectar, and so like it'll like black out and then turn into this evil like nectar craving crazed version of Sunshine. And yeah, when you put nectar in his mouth, then he goes back to normal. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember what was going on." Like he literally is like an evil, like he's trying to punch the princess's castle down and stuff because he doesn't have nectar. Which like that's all pretty bog standard. Like I mostly found with Sunshine, like I don't care about Sunshine the character that much, but the conclusion to that side story is Sunshine's like, I think the only way I can get over this is if I had the legendary nectar, but that flower doesn't exist anymore. I have the seed, but it takes years to grow, so I'm kind of screwed. But there's an instance in the game, we mentioned it before, you time travel, and that is you have to do that to advance the main plot at one point, but you can also time travel for this side story, and you take the seed, you go back 10 years, you plant it, and then you leave and you come back to the present, and then the flower has grown, you can get the legendary nectar, blah blah blah. And that's how you resolve that plot line. Again, it's not so much the story that impressed me, but the fact that they utilized the time travel for two separate things, even though you'd think there would be no way they would do that. I was not expecting, when I was like doing more of the side stories after I'd already beaten the game, that I would ever need to do the time travel stuff again. I was like, there's no way they're doing this, but they totally did it, and they let me time travel and plant this flower. I just thought that was super neat.
It was super cool, and like it is funny because like some of the themes of the game are kind of adult. Like yeah, Sunshine is struggling with addiction, like nectar addiction, and even after you kind of like quote unquote cure Sunshine's addiction to nectar or whatever, some of the language that Sunshine, I don't remember exact quotes, but it definitely is kind of like there's like a vibe of it of I'm so sorry, I wish it didn't have this power over me, you know, kind of thing. Like it is such a like clear allegory for somebody struggling with like drug addiction, and it's funny and it's played up for laughs, and it's a little cute teddy bear with like an evil, you know, face and stuff. But I don't know, I was like yeah, it's interesting that the game is tapping into this. Like this game, yeah, like the family struggles, the, you know, economic struggles, you know, like love, and even like your own mortality and stuff, and like, yeah, like the service of the people that you love, and you know, all of this stuff is like tapped into in this little game. And I don't know, man, like there's just something, it's unbelievable what this game is able to accomplish.
Yeah.
And the feelings that it's able to conjure up,
especially for the time and the state of like the game industry it was released in 2006. Like,
right,
if this game were released as like an indie level release nowadays, this would be considered like an all-timer. I feel like, I mean, I do consider this an all-timer now that I've played it, but I just mean that it would have wider reach nowadays. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already more Switch 2 players that played this NSO version than ever played it on the GameCube itself. You know, like
right.
I hope that I shouldn't say I hope that I don't necessarily need a revitalization of the series. I feel like just let it go unless you bring the original creators back anyway. Um, but I hope that there is at least like a reevaluation now, like what I have done. Like as someone that always kind of was like, I'd heard about this game and I figured I would like it, but I did not realize I would like it this much. Like, I hope that if you take mine and Seth's opinions about video games seriously, and also you are aware that this isn't like a gameplay focused game first, I hope you give this a shot and that you end up loving it as much as I do. Really, the only thing I don't like about the game, especially in the beginning, there's a lot of text and it is pretty slow moving text. But
yeah,
once you're through the first like hour and a half, it becomes way more manageable. Like it doesn't bombard you as much with that.
Yeah, although I will say, so yeah, I agree. Like, there's a lot of text and it can be slow moving. However, like to the point where actually like the Chibi-Robo community has like modded it to where you can like, you know, instantly skip through the text or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what that does do is sometimes it can like sometimes the text being doled out as slowly as it does is used to evoke a mood. Like anytime the dad like looks up to the sky and like has his arms out to his side and he's like screaming something, like the text is usually shaking and like coming up slowly, and you know, like there is like a timing element to that kind of works, but a lot of the time when it's like normal dialogue, yeah, it is too slow. I wish there was a little bit of like nuance to it, but yeah, they've modded that. Like the Chibi-Robo community now has like modded that in to where you can just kind of like display everything at once.
It never really bothered me, and I am someone that this kind of thing it would usually annoy, but like,
yeah,
on a first playthrough it did not bother me at all. But I could see if I were to try and replay it in a couple years where I'm more familiar with the game, that it might like frustrate me a little more. But if like the biggest issue I have with your game is that the text sometimes moves a little too slow, that's a pretty good game, I think.
yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to add before we take this next break? We are going to talk about Dina and Funky Phil after the break because of one of the songs we're breaking for, but was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, yeah, we can I can hold it. I can save myself for Funky Phil.
Okay. Then I guess let's go on our next break. We're going to play you Flashing Cosmic Mambo, and I think one of the best titles ever for a song is I'm Gonna Do Something, both from Chibi-Robo, and we will be back. That was Flashing Cosmic Mambo, and I'm gonna do something. Uh, so Flashing Cosmic Mambo, I think this is maybe the song in the game that makes like the least sense to me, because
Sure.
like it plays when you're like doing the gambling with Pico, right? Or like at some point
Yeah.
during the Pico dialogue, and what the hell is Pico anyway? Like, what is he supposed to be?
Some kind of like pot or something. Yeah, like some kind of like I don't know if he's supposed to be like one of those like clay diffusers or something like that.
That would make sense. I couldn't
Yeah.
tell what the hell he was supposed to be. I thought he was like a weird, ugly, bald shaman duck or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell what his face is super animated when he talks, because there's a mini game you can play where the camera zooms in on his face and you get to guess if he's going to open or remain closed, whatever eye he's talking about. And they really
Mhm.
build it up when you pick your choice about if he's going to open it or not. Like his mouth is all like, and like it's kind of like disorienting and even disgusting. And so like this song rather associated with that character is very funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of give like Pico's character a different energy, I think. Like the Spanish guitar sounds, the little like finger clapper, instruments, I don't know what they're called, but those little finger, clapper instruments. I don't know, like it's clear, it's made clear through Pico's character and the interaction with is it Captain Plankbeard the pirate?
I think so.
Because like it's obvious that Pico is kind of like a charlatan or something, like Pico's ripping people off a lot of the time for their money, although Pico will like honor it. Like if you do manage to, like you said, to save scum and figure out which eye is going to open or whatever, like Pico will honor it. But still, like Pico is definitely like trying to get the wool over on people, and something about this song being associated with him, like I think adds a certain, I don't know, like I don't want to say gravitas, but like a worldly nature to Pico. Did you ever find, I think it's in the kitchen, you can get up like into the little like cover of the oven and Pico's like up there.
Yeah, he's in like the
And
vent above the oven. Yeah.
yeah, and like Pico's up there and there's like some spy doors that'll be up there too. And I don't know, I find it kind of interesting that Pico kind of like moves to different areas of the house, maybe more than like any of the other characters. Pico's kind of like all over the place. Like at a certain point, Pico will be like in the backyard, like on the swing and stuff. And I don't know, there's something like the song makes Pico feel like a well-traveled character or something.
Yeah, like he's almost like a traveling like bard or minstrel or
Totally.
something. Like
Right.
it does make sense kind of when you have that context, but yeah, when you first hear this song, it's like this weirdly sexy Spanish guitar for this weird little dude. It's very funny, but also yeah, it just when you first encounter him, I think this theme doesn't really make sense, but I think that is a pretty good contextualization. And yeah, I think he even when you talk to him in the mornings when he's in the vent, he even says like there's a reason he goes up there, but I forget what it was. Maybe he's even collecting
Yeah.
like the grease or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, there is a bunch of grease up there. I don't remember either. He does say something though. Yeah, you're right. I don't remember what he said. But yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add about Flashing Cosmic Mambo?
No, let's talk about Dina and Funky Phil.
Yeah, this is my favorite story in Chibi-Robo, even like more than like the main story. I think like this was a doozy for me. And yeah, I guess you could call this the theme of Dina. Like it plays when you're
Right.
talking to her, and Dina is this Lego dinosaur that speaks with like a very exaggerated Southern accent, and that really has a soft spot for Funky Phil and his kids. And Funky Phil is this dancing novelty flower toy. Like you've seen them before. Like they kind of like wiggle
Yeah.
and gyrate when music's playing or whatever. And so Funky Phil, I don't even know how to explain this, but like at one point he drops a seed, and if you plant the seed and grow it with his funky sweat, it births a bunch of like little mini Phils, and it happens twice. And then on the second batch of kids, one of them is like weird. Like one of them is
Freaky Phil.
Freaky Phil, yeah. And so like Dina is the intentionality supposed to be that Dina like has a thing for Funky Phil? Because that's kind of what I was reading at first. But yeah, like she seems to, even if she doesn't, she definitely has like strong feelings about Phil and his kids. Like she definitely loves them in some way or another. She's very protective of the kids and stuff. And like, yeah, so that's all set up for like what I'm about to say for this song. So like the song starts off very goofy, right? Like it's it is just like a hodgepodge of stuff. Like it's an absolute mess with all these thrown together elements, which kind of describes again the concept of Dina herself, which is this like Lego dinosaur speaking with a southern accent. Like it's dumb. It's a dumb like it feels like a thrown together character, right? And it kind of, when I first met Dina, I thought it was going to be a mostly played for laughs character. Like she attacked this frog that got into the bedroom, and he still has like bite marks on his chest from when she bit him and stuff, which is also very funny. But yeah, at one point the song transitions over to this very like soft and like more well thought out little brief section around 18 seconds in.
Right.
And so that perfectly like that is the perfect character summation for Dina, because at one point, and again this is spoilers, but 20-year-old game, Funky Phil stops moving and everyone is referring to him as being dead, like explicitly. It's not like there's a euphemism or they're using like cute like language to dance around it. Like no, they're full on saying that, oh, Funky Phil's dead, and everyone is sad. Like there's a mourning period when it happens. Like you can't interact with Dina and the kids until like a full day has passed again. And then Dina, this whole time, she's been talking about she wants to do something for the kids, and she wants to take them out to perform out in the world, but she doesn't know, she can't do it yet. And she tasks you with finding these other Lego blocks. When you find all the Lego blocks, after Funky Phil is dead, quote unquote, she gives you a schematic, and she says, "Hey, give this to Papa, and then I'll see you later." And then she jumps off of her shelf and shatters into a bunch of Lego blocks. And then you give the schematic to Papa, and he rebuilds her in the form of a truck with the new bricks. And then she's able to take the kids out to the backyard for them to like do a concert / funeral for Funky
like
Phil.
A funeral, like memorial performance.
Yeah. And you know, she does get turned back into a dinosaur. Like she doesn't stay that way permanently as the truck, but it just, she's also still sentient as the truck too. It's not like she's gone. Her consciousness is still there or whatever. But this is all just to say that it's like, yeah, they present you with this character at the start that it just seems very goofy and one note, whatever. And then it turns into, she's like maybe the most sweet and self-sacrificing character in the whole game. She literally throws herself off of a cliff so that she can become something else to help the people she loves, you know? And again, like she gets turned back into a dinosaur. Also, Funky Phil ends up not being dead, but like still,
this is like that Christmas Carol and Funky Phil, who did not die.
Yeah. Like everything, it turns out okay in the end, but still, like when this is all happening, I was like, what the hell? Like this was the last side story I think I did, and I couldn't put the game down. I was even like, okay, I want to see this through. It probably won't be that much longer, but no, it was much longer than I was expecting, and yeah, much sadder than I was expecting. And yeah, I couldn't, like, this is one of the side stories in this game, or rather in any video game, that like affected me the most. Like this is like on the level of like Analgesic Productions games writing to me.
Yes. Complete. It definitely feels like an analgesic kind of moment. Yeah. And I just want to stress that we're talking about a dancing flower toy named Funky Phil and a southern old lady Lego dinosaur. Like that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Like there's just, I don't know how the game does it. It reminds me of like the way that like Anodyne 2 or something would suddenly hit you, and you realize like, oh my god, like this skeleton and this golem made of chewed bubble gum is making me cry.
Yeah.
You know, like it's exactly that kind of flavor, and like it makes you realize and wonder like what the kind of, you know, the brilliance of designing a character like Dina. And I agree with you, like my only real notes on the song was exactly what you said, like this notion of like these sort of two different sides of Dina, this kind of crazy buck wild borderline carnival instrumentation, you know, like it sounds like a rodeo or something, you know. And then yeah, like the other half of the song is this kind of like string passage ballroom dance stuff. It's the sweetness and the craziness of Dina. But like you think about the brilliance of that character, where I wonder when that occurred to them in the writing process of, oh, the reason she is a Lego dinosaur is so they could have that moment, you know, like because she could have just been like a normal dinosaur toy like Rex in Toy Story or whatever. The reason she's made out of Legos is that so she could have that moment of self-sacrifice and rebuilding herself and everything. And even like the title of the song being I'm gonna do something, like taking that charge and being like, no, like I need to take control of this and do something, because I care. Like you know, like it is the ultimate expression of love and care for these weird little flower kids. And, you know, and I don't know, man, like there's something about that. And yeah, I do think there's a little bit like Dina is kind of like romantically interested in Funky Phil, but Funky Phil is not only not, he's not only not interested in Dina, like romantically, he's not even really interested in his kids, at least at first.
Chibi-Robo has to like shame him into even admitting they're his. I mean, to be fair, Chibi-Robo is the one that plants the seed and grows it without asking Funky Phil anything.
He quite literally didn't ask for this, so yeah. So I get it. You know, but like at the same time though, man, like I don't know, like they're like Dina has this kind of matronly. I don't know if it's I think said in dialogue, like something about her being old, like she has like kind of an old lady, like an old Southern lady kind of vibe to her, I think, with a lot of like pep and energy. And yeah, these were some of my favorites too. Just a great little side story. And I almost wonder too, like I was thinking about her and how protective she is over Funky Phil and his kids. Because when you first meet Funky Phil, like they accidentally like put him behind the blinds. And so Funky Phil was like kind of trapped behind the blinds, and it's Dina who tells you like, hey, like there's a dude up there if you could like help him out. And I almost wonder if like attacking the frog and attacking you, it's not out of like hunger. I almost wonder if it's out of like defense. Like she's defending Funky Phil in this state of him being trapped, you know? So I don't know. Again, it's wild to have conversations like this about a Lego dinosaur and a dancing flower.
Yeah. I'll also say the hardest I laughed at the game was, when Funky Phil was like, whoa, those aren't my kids. And then Chibi-Robo was like looking at him, like squinting his eyes. Like
so good.
The only time Chibi-Robo expresses like any displeasure at anyone in the game is at Funky Phil denying that they're his kids.
And there's also a moment where I don't remember what the context was, but it's the only moment in the game. Like they understood the humor of this moment so well, because normally when you know, Chibi-Robo only says yes or no as dialogue options, and they kind of pop up above his head. And then there's a situation where they're both no.
It has to, it's right after that eye squinting scene. It's something of like, it's something Funky Phil says, and then Chibi-Robo was like, nope, like you're taking care of these kids.
Yeah.
Like I think at the end of the quest line, you get an option that's yes or yes also. So it's like
really good.
They came back around to it, but
they paid it off.
Yeah. So good. I really like Chibi-Robo is like
what a game, dude.
One of a kind thing. And I also want to take this time to shout out Newt for requesting this in the first place. You know, when this came to NSO, I was always planning on playing it if I ever got the chance anyway, but I definitely would not have prioritized it the way I did if it weren't for Newt. And who knows, maybe if it wasn't for covering it on the podcast, I might not have even gotten, maybe I would have gotten bored or whatever in the first hour and a half when there's way more dialogue. So yeah, no, I discovered this game and my love for it partially because of someone requesting it for this podcast. So I just want to give you that shout out, Newt. I don't even know if you still listen, but if you do, thank you.
Yeah, well, and I'll not only will I co-sign that, but I'll say that I would never have, and I love Chibi-Robo. Until Newt requested it, I would not have considered it really for an episode of this podcast. Like it it wasn't even really on my radar. So yeah, like what a joy, like to be able to re-experience this game on Switch 2, to get to share it with you, like you getting to play it for the first time, and like kind of validating like my love of Chibi-Robo and falling even more in love with it in 2025. And like it's just been, and getting to gush about it here on the show, like man, like this is like what life is all about, dude. Like I'm so delighted and energized by this game, the conversation, this episode. I just, yeah, very, very happy we got to cover it. So thanks, Newt.
Yeah. We talked about it on the Mario Party Mini, but that's Patreon exclusive. Like at the start of that was like right when I finished, I think, Chibi-Robo, and like right after you finished, and we both at the start were just like, man, I just want to talk about Chibi-Robo. I don't want to talk about Mario Party.
Yeah.
With that all said, are you ready to get into the YouTube comment oversharing corner?
Let's do it.
As a reminder, this is the section of the show where we read off any funny or memorable or interesting or downright insane comments we've stumbled across while grabbing songs for this episode. Probably because of like how niche this game is, but the fact that it's 20 years old. A lot of really sad comments on these, but I don't think I grabbed any overtly sad ones, but there were a lot of them. I'll just say that. Not quite dead grandma levels, but getting there. For this first one, we've got YouTube user Omahan, I guess.
Omaha MH, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Commented on in broad daylight 13 years ago. This reminds me of the hours I spent in my dirty apartment cleaning a virtual apartment, which I love that too, because like my wife, her favorite thing ever is Animal Crossing, and just thinking about how much she loves like spending time decorating and doing all this stuff in Animal Crossing, but like doesn't do it I mean, we don't have that much space in our apartment anyway,
right?
But like so she gets that joy out of herself and that creativity out of herself through the act of playing a video game like that. And it's very funny to me, the idea of like, because cleaning can be satisfying, and yet like a lot of us just don't want to do it, you know? So like, yeah, if only I could like walk around my real house and scrub the floor and hear the Toothbrush song every time I did that, it would make cleaning a lot more fun.
Yeah, that would solve a lot of my problems if I could just do that. Yeah. By the way, they just started doing yard work outside of my apartment, speaking of all of that. So if any of that's coming through the mic, I apologize. But it'll be okay. If every like chore or cleaning accompaniment can be done with music, yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a comment here from It's a S'mores, I guess. _ on Teriyaki Blues 5 years ago, me gargling Listerine every morning. Yeah,
I never like when I did Listerine. My wife doesn't like Listerine, so we don't have it anymore. But
I love it.
I do too. When I was a bachelor, Listerine's awesome. I like that burn, but
I love the burn.
I didn't really like gargle and make noise though. Like but I do like the noise, or the idea of like, yeah, that you make that noise and that made you think of teriyaki.
I swish a lot. But I don't gargle mouthwash very often. But I love mouthwash. It reminds me of there's an old like TikTok or YouTube short about Splatoon where it's like a guy just strumming a couple times on his electric guitar, and then he has a mouthful of water. He's like, and he's like me doing the Splatoon music.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Next we got YouTube user Susan Warner 4886. I just love when we got a first name, last name, numbers,
real good
name, especially when it's something as like nondescript as Susan Warner. commented on I'm Gonna Do Something 6 years ago. This is the song that plays when you're back on your bullshit. And yes, that is the perfect description of it.
Yeah. Especially like the explosion of like eccentricity and then the calm down.
Mhm.
Yeah, that definitely fits. Okay. Oh man. YouTube user at Popstar Wandissimo 8413 commented on Night Play 6 years ago. My first time playing the game, I was too scared to go near the door where the caterpillar was stuck. The basement is the worst area. I always liked the little girl's room and being with the mom. Bring her fabric to make me more pajamas. LOL.
Yeah, I just thought this one was cute because, again, it gets into the kid thing of like, yeah, sometimes things in games that aren't meant to be scary, you interpret as scary when you're a child. And so I could totally see the dog toy that looks kind of like a caterpillar, like being stuck in the door. I could see it being like seeming threatening when it's quite the opposite.
Right, she's not scary at all. Like, she's just this, like, love-struck, like, Drake Red Crest obsessed little caterpillar toy. Yeah.
I liked the comment of I liked being with the mom. Like
Right.
I that's very cute because, again, out of the human characters, I did like spending time with her the most and like sharing tea, and then like when you get the spoon and then you can like stir sugar into her tea for her and stuff.
Right.
I loved it. I just love this game, and that was a great summation of a lot of things I like about it.
The basement is the worst area, I agree.
Especially like before you get the teleporter and you have to like climb the whole staircase to get back. That sucks.
Yeah.
YouTube user Keegan Alton, or Keegan Gatton, I guess, commented on Flashing Cosmic Mambo 12 years ago. Just mute all music in Just Cause 2 and play this overlapping. It fits too well. It fits too well is in all caps, and the wrong 2 is used. And I understand what he's okay. I've never played any Just Cause game, but it is like set in like Latin America or something, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Island kind of. Yeah. Mm.
I get what he's saying, but also the idea of muting the music in Just Cause 2 and playing this song from Chibi-Robo on repeat is psychotic behavior.
That's wild. I want to know like what the situation was that made him think of that. Like, was he just listening to this while playing Just Cause 2, or was it a situation where he heard the song and he says, "Damn, this would hit so hard if I was playing Just Cause 2 right now"?
Yeah, that's a thought we've all had, I'm sure, at some point.
Oh my god. I also love that it's Just Cause 2 specifically. Yeah. Not 1 or 3, 2.
I feel like I've never heard anyone talk about Just Cause 1 or 3 anyway, so I guess 2 is probably the one that's the most popular, so maybe that's why.
That's so funny.
When did 3 come out? Maybe 12 years ago 3 wasn't even out yet. Maybe that's what it was.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I truly don't remember. I did play Just Cause 1 and 2. I don't think I ever played 3, but I did, like, I messed with those when they came. I was working at GameStop at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, like, whenever we would have, like, a used, copy of a game or something, we could, like, take it home and play it. And so, yeah, I played Just Cause 2 that way. And I remember liking it. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of in that, like, Red Faction guerrilla kind of vibe.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't it like open world, like you can destroy a bunch of stuff kind of game, and like that's the fun of it. Yeah,
you're like grappling around everywhere. Yeah,
grappling. There's a lot of good grapple hook games like back then, and like 15 years ago console generation. I always thought it looked and sounded cool. I just never played it, but yeah. The probably the first and last time you will ever hear Just Cause 2 and Chibi-Robo associated in any major way.
It was only missing that Chibi-Robo music behind it. Next time you play Just Cause 2, do yourself a favor. Okay, last comment here is from at Beelzebubbles, I guess. Or
I like that
underscore bubbles.
I think that's a pretty good YouTube commenter name. Yeah, Beelzebubbles.
Pretty good. Commented on In Broad Daylight 9 years ago. I can still hear the footsteps after all these years.
Yeah, you can call it saccharine or whatever, but I just threw this in because it's the perfect send off. Like I I feel like I will be hearing the footsteps like 10 years
Yes.
from now, even if I don't play the game again. Like it is that distinct.
Yeah, it's impossible. Like when you've played the game, you'll know what we're talking about. You will not be able to separate it in your mind.
And that has been your YouTube comment oversharing corner for the Chibi-Robo episode. We do have a couple voicemails to get into.
Okay, first one here is from Parker. So let's hear from Parker.
Hey, it's me again, Parker. So I've been wondering, save this for the Donkey Kong Bonanza episode of Summer of Nintendo. My favorite song from the Donkey Kong Bonanza soundtrack is Heart of Gold, the Curtis music for Donkey Kong Bonanza. And for Seth, play the song Another World from Brawl Stars. And I hope this message finds you well. Bye.
Yeah, Seth, I hope this message finds you well. Don't
Finds
worry about
me well.
Don't worry about me. It's fine.
Don't worry about old Matt.
So yeah, Parker, just so you know, this voicemail came in like we'd already recorded the Donkey Kong Bonanza like, I don't know, nearly a week. But we've been recording pretty early lately, and yeah, so that's why this message wasn't on that episode. But hey, in this case, it's totally fine. Rather, in any case, it's totally fine, really. But yeah, just so you know, if you want something in on a specific episode, you should probably get those in as early as you can, just due to how wild our schedules change with recording the show.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it really depends on the episode, but you know, it is not uncommon at all for us to record the episodes like 4 or 5, you know, days in advance of them going live, even to Patreon. So yeah, but by the time, because I think Parker sent this in on like a Friday or a Saturday when the episode was going live publicly the following Sunday. So it came in a little late, but yeah, totally fine. If that happens, it's completely fine. But yeah, if you do want something played during a specific episode, do send it in as soon as you can so that we can, you know, try to get it in on time. So,
but I agree. The Heart of Gold is a super cool song. It's a very good end credit song, especially for Donkey Kong Bonanza. We didn't end up playing it just because I don't know. I felt like it's too spoilery, I guess, or not spoilery, but like we didn't need to in that case play it. I guess is kind of how I felt about it. But yeah, it is a great song. I can see why you like it so much, and also it continues the modern Nintendo tradition of like every game has a vocal theme now. Every first party Nintendo game has a vocal theme or just about, and it continues a pretty cool tradition. I quite like all of these.
Yeah, I don't like it quite as much as either of the Mario Odyssey songs. You know, Jump Up Superstar and Break Free. I don't like it I like as much as either of those, but it's still really good. And yeah, if you're gonna have Pauline in the game, you have to have a big, you know, vocal crescendo. Yeah, it is really good. I like it a lot. Okay, well, we have another voicemail here from Fulia. So let's hear from Fulia.
Hello, Bit Harmony Goobers! And that is the most American you're going to get out of me.
I never thought about goobers being an American
It is
thing.
I, the koala from Down Under. And I just thought I would let you all know that I never played the GameCube version of Chibi-Robo because I never owned a GameCube. So learning about Chibi-Robo after I had played through the 3DS version, which is the one I have. I bought it in the special Amiibo pack back in the day, and I love it so much. It's awesome, and I've used my Amiibo a few times while playing Chibi-Robo on my 3DS. It's a Chibi-Robo Ziplash, and I was actually wondering how good is the GameCube version? Is it anywhere as good as the 3DS version that I've played and experienced? I don't have a Switch 2, so I can't go out of my way to play Chibi-Robo on the GameCube NSO. I've only got my Switch 1. Seth will get that one. And yeah, I'm very curious to know if it holds up now. If at some point I do end up buying a Switch 2 and I do end up playing on the GameCube NSO, would it be worth jumping into today? I'm going to say probably yes. Your answer's probably going to be yes, but I'm more so just curious about that. But considering that this is a Chibi-Robo episode, I would love to hear one of the more obscure tracks from the GameCube version, of course, and I will leave that up to you two to choose. So have fun with that, and thank you again for having me on the voicemail. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Fulia, for calling in, and thank you, Parker. I don't know if we said thank you, Parker, but thank you for calling in also.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of avoided getting too in depth into Chibi-Robo Ziplash thoughts earlier. I mean, I guess there's not that much to say about it, but yeah, long story short, yes, the GameCube game is way better than Ziplash. But the thing is, they're so completely different games that the only thing they really have in common is Chibi-Robo and Telly are in both of them. Like, that's really all they have in common. Like I said, and like Seth said, I liked Ziplash more than most people seem to. I don't think it's anything amazing, but to me, it was worth it just for the amiibo. And then I got like a decent game alongside of it, honestly. So the answer, as you could probably tell by listening to the rest of the podcast, is like a little complicated because the Chibi-Robo is a 2006 era GameCube game that is not always user friendly, but I do think there is a really interesting like intersectionality of like point and click adventure from the 2006 era, but also I think if this game were to be released nowadays, it would be considered a cozy game mostly. And I think there's a really interesting intersectionality there of like this kind of obtuse and even at times like unfriendly, but not in a mean way, game that is also cute and cozy or whatever. So I can't answer for anyone besides myself if Chibi-Robo on GameCube is going to be for you, but I definitely think there's something there that is worth checking out, especially for you, Fulian, as like a lover of cozy games. I do think there is shared DNA between Chibi-Robo and a lot of modern, cute, cozy things.
I think it's interesting that like the kind of like cozy like gamer community or whatever is very accepting of like Animal Crossing New Horizons, for example, even though that has a lot of really unfriendly user stuff too. Like the fact that your weapons are always breaking and you can't like batch craft and stuff. And, like unless you're wanting to time travel, like you're meant to play the game slowly and not, skip ahead to next days or anything like that. Like the terraforming has to be done like one tile at a time. And, that stuff is cumbersome in a good way in many cases for me. The same way that, like Chibi-Robo is intentionally cumbersome too. So anyway, I think that like, if you can deal with stuff like that, you can probably find it in you to deal with what Chibi-Robo has to throw at you. I think it just requires a different like framing in your mind, but no, I mean, I love the game. So
yeah, like straight up, this is one of my favorite games I've played this year, and this has been a very good year for modern games. So
yeah,
it's saying a lot that I liked it as much as I did.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess we can talk about the song that we chose for Fulia's request after the break.
Yeah. So we'll go on a break then for both Parker and Fulia's song requests. Parker requested Another World from Brawl Stars. And what Seth ended up picking specifically for Fulia's requests of wanting like an obscure song from the soundtrack is N-Wing Specialist from Chibi-Robo. So again, that's Another World from Brawl Stars and N-Wing Specialist from Chibi-Robo, and we'll be back to close out the show. was Another World and N-Wing Specialist. I don't know what to make of Another World. From what I could find, it sounds like it was like a trailer or a song from a trailer for like a season of the game, or even I was seeing something about like it's from like an investor presentation or something.
Right.
And then in the course of trying to track this song down, I also found Starchive, which is like an entire wiki website dedicated to the music of Brawl Stars, which I wasn't expecting to find. And also, until doing these notes, I was thinking I was confusing Brawl Stars with Brawlhalla, that like Ubisoft Smash
Right.
Bros like thing. And then I found out that this is completely not that. And then I just completely lost track of what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean this. I don't have a lot of notes on the song itself because, I can tell that this is the kind of song that like only really works in the context of the game, right? Or like, or what's happening. Because like on its own, it's really like repetitive. Like the instrument, it's super like the melody of it is very repetitive. The key changes sometimes, but for like the bulk of the song, it's the same kind of melody over and over. Like there are parts of it that are very like kind of Disney coded. Like it reminded me of like Epic Mickey a little bit, And there is a good build at the end of the song, which I did like. But yeah, like without having played the game or even really knowing the context of it in the game, it didn't land for me, as well as I imagine it would have if I had any knowledge of the game at all, and I just don't.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I didn't have any other notes for it. With N-Wing Specialist, you were the one that chose the song for Fulia's request. And I thought it was a very good pick, and your reasons for it made perfect sense. You want to get into your reasonings for it?
Sure. So this is this song only plays during a side mission. So we mentioned it earlier. There's a moment in the game where the Free Rangers, who are these little egg soldiers, they kind of, some of them go AWOL, and two of them become like these weird like spaceship pilots. And at a certain point, you can do a side mission with them where you can like race them. And it sucks. Did you do this?
I did, yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard. I found anyway. Did you find this as hard as I had to replay this probably 20 times?
It's funny. I had my notes. I said I played this more than I probably should have. So I understood it by the end. After like 25 minutes of playing, I'm like, okay, I understand this. And to be fair, the game does spell out for you this gameplay mechanic that I was ignoring, but it was my fault for ignoring it. So you're in this like space fighter jet flying through the foyer, and you're trying to blow up balloons or like shoot missiles at these like balloons or whatever they are.
It's on rails while it's doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, you are completely on rails, and you are basically just supposed to shoot as many of the balloons as you can to get a higher rank. But the tricky part is that whenever you shoot whenever you're shooting missiles, your ship slows down a little bit and you're on a timer. So you want to get to the end of the level, or rather get to the next room as fast as you can while popping as many balloons as you can. But if you are just being reckless with how often you're shooting your missiles, you're not even going to make it to the end. Like I kept dying like well before I made it to the room because I just wasn't paying attention to the idea of like I should only be shooting the missiles when there's like clusters of balloons to shoot, basically. So when I took a break and I realized that was the problem, then I beat it on my first try, but I still only got like a B rank. But then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good. That's all I needed to do there.
Okay. So I made sure I played it until I got an S rank, which killed me inside. But so the reason I chose this though is because this side mission, you can only do it. Not only is it, a very, very, very easily missed side mission kind of later into the game, you also have to buy, it might be the most expensive thing to purchase in the shop with your money. It's like 3,000 moolah or whatever. So anyway, I would consider this one of the more obscure tracks in the game because it's like really buried in there. You have to buy an expensive thing to even access this thing, and then you need to know when and where to use it, you know?
Right.
So
like you have to advance the side story with the battalion to a certain point to even, and then you might not, you know, a thing we didn't really talk about, Chibi-Robo is so small, you can press, I think, the Y button to get like a first person view and like look around a room.
right.
But because of how low to the ground Chibi-Robo is, like this minigame is on top of like a shelf. So you might, depending on where you're even using the first person camera view, you might not even see that there's even anything on top of that shelf at all. And then you also need to have the ladder unlocked to get there and stuff. So this is a very, very, very missable minigame and therefore a very, very, very missable song. So yeah, it made perfect sense to choose that as like the obscure pick here.
Yeah, and it's a good song. Like it's got this kind of like, you know, like space D&B, you know, kind of energy, and yeah, just like good electric guitar stuff, good synth stuff. I really like how like garage bandy, like the snare drum sounds. Like it's very kind of like just raw and nasty a little bit. Like I don't know, I like this song a lot, and it is probably, with the exception of just the standard day and night music, probably the song I heard the most in the game replaying this damn thing.
Well, I mean, in this case, I often am a completionist. I still am contemplating getting all 50 cherries in UFO 50 for some reason.
Yeah,
and I'm glad I did not have a completionist urge when it comes to this. I will say I did get an S rank in the other mini game where you're playing chicken in the sport car, and I did not use save states. I got it on like my third try, but also that's just much quicker and easier. You just press like a button at the right time, and then you either fail or you make it. So I like that mini game more because it was way sillier. Like again, it's like the greaser egg X trooper that you're playing chicken with in a sports car at the top of a set of stairs. But yeah, it's that mini game I thought thematically fit Chibi-Robo more. But yes, the song for the N-Wing Specialist is it's pretty cool. Yeah, I have it. Like yeah, it is one of my favorite songs from the game, and it's cool how it sounds so different from the rest of the soundtrack.
Yep, it's good stuff. Hopefully that satiates your obscure song hunger, Fulia.
Yeah, it really does not get more obscure than that, I think. How hidden it is in this like pretty niche game in and of itself. But with that said, that was your voicemail section of this episode. As a reminder, you can send voicemails or even texts to either bitharmonypod@gmail.com, or you can dial in to 216-230-8540. Again, that is 216-230-8540. We do have Old Drake sent in something, but we're going to save that for the next episode to play for reasons that will be obvious when we play it on the next episode. But yeah, just as a final reminder, if you are dialing in, leaving a voicemail, keep those under 3 minutes. Otherwise, Google Voice will just boot you out.
Yep, we love your voicemails. Do that. Dial in, send an email, whatever you want to do. We appreciate it. You can even send in a Bot Harmony if you want to. If you want to text the number, you can do that, and Bot Harmony will read it. So we appreciate that. Okay, well, should I do the normal like patron thanks and all that?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right, let's do that. So yeah, do consider supporting us on Patreon. You get early access to this show. You get a bunch of other exclusive perks, like exclusive access to the mini episodes of this show. If you like this show, like there's so much extra on Patreon, including the Kirby Star-Crossed World mini that we're doing next week, which will be the proper finale of the Summer of Nintendo. Finally, maybe. And so you got to be on Patreon to check that out and join the ranks of these fine folks. that I will thank right now. BitHarmony is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Thank you to our Triforce tier supporters like Adam Caparello, Bowza, Quagmire, Dan and Luma, Daniel Hinojosa, SAZ, Foolish Fuji, John Cummins, Josh Vaughn, Ligerwoods 330, and Uncle Randy. And thank you so much to our Golden Banana tier supporters, Big Dogs Only, Bill Tucker, Gamer Jason, Hopple, Liam D, Old Drake, Phelan Ward, Rob Yapel, Shy Guy, thank you Shy Guy, Sean Ashton, Sparky, and Stephen Keller. Thanks so much, you guys, for your continued support of everything that we do here. We really appreciate it. Like I said, you can get a 7-day free trial over there on Patreon. Links are in the show notes. And yeah, just as a quick reminder too, you can support the show for free as well by leaving 5-star reviews on your podcatcher of choice. We appreciate that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, always appreciate it. Also, you can support the show, but just by telling people to go listen. We've got official confirmation that that Presto is leaving the United States to go spread the word of BitHarmony. So we salute him.
He's on a fact-finding mission to spread the good word of BitHarmony the world over.
Yeah, he's leaving. I've seen his hobo bag that he's got slumped over his shoulder. This is a stupid bit. But anyway, yeah, tell people to listen to the show also if you've already supported us in all other ways that you can. Our next full episode is going to be on September 21st. We are revisiting a classic. We are finally doing Oops All Remixes Volume 2. The first episode, the first one of these was like the 10th episode of the show. Well over a year ago at this point. We are just going to be covering a bunch of like fan rearrangements. We can even do like in-game official arrangements too, but basically we're not playing any of the original songs. We're just going to be playing rearrangements and remixes of any video game song that we feel like. This is
a layup.
Yes, this is our easy layup where I do not have to take many notes or do much research compared to a normal episode of this show. So that's why we are doing that. And again, we are doing the Kirby and the Forgotten Land Starcross World mini next week at some point. So there's plenty to get into with BitHarmony still in the summer of Nintendo. With that all out of the way, are you ready for the haikus?
Let's do it. Who do you want to go first, or should I go first?
No, I don't mind going first.
Okay.
I mean, look, I have a feeling there's one line that will probably be maybe in both of our haikus. I guess we'll see.
Oh, okay.
When I saw that it was 5 syllables, it seemed like too obvious for me to not go for it. But maybe based on your reaction, you didn't go for it. Take pride in yourself. It looks very good on you. Spread the happiness.
Spread the happiness. I did think about doing something like that. I did think about like using some kind of line from the game like that. I did not. I resisted the urge, but
it's a pretty good line that it is repeated over and over and over and over throughout Chibi-Robo, and it just seemed too good to not include it here. I'll also note it looks very good on you is also when the mom makes you the pajamas, I think, and if you wear the pajamas and talk to her, she says they look very good on you. I just thought that was very cute.
Yeah, I love that. I love the pajamas too. So good.
They're also super useful. It's one of the most useful abilities in the game. You can just end a day whenever you want.
Yeah, super, super handy. Okay, well, let's go. I'll get into mine then. Love in every charge. My circuits at your service. Joy is worth the work.
I mean, yeah, even though we didn't use the exact same line, I feel like we definitely were coming at it from basically the same angle and stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, we repeated this over and over throughout this whole podcast, but this is just such a lovely damn video game, and I would hope that both of our haikus being so similar and coming at it thematically really underlines just how much we both really loved it.
Yeah, it really is like, again, like for me in this season of my life, at the age I am now, the stuff that I value in video games now, and really art in general, Chibi-Robo like hits all of the marks. Like I could not imagine, I couldn't love it more. I could not love the game more. Yeah.
And again, it's probably going to be a game that isn't for everyone, but I think if it's something that you think is for you, it's probably going to be really, really, really for you. So I hope if any of this sounds good that you end up giving the game a shot, even if you just emulate it on Dolphin. I'm not the police. It's fine. Do what you're going to do. But anyway, that has been the Chibi-Robo episode of Bit Harmony. Again, join us on September 21st. We were bringing back Oops All remixes, and taking you out this episode is Happy Birthday, which is basically the tutorial area of the game.
Yeah.
Contextualized as a birthday party for Jenny and her dad. Chibi-Robo was like part of her dad's gift to her for her birthday, which is also very cute. So again, thank you so much for listening. We will talk to you next time. See ya. Bye.
Bye.